Hello, ladies and gentlemen, those in between and beyond. Welcome to the next edition of the Podwans Saga. It is I, forever, always been your host, Malik, the Jedi Smart, here to take you through another episode of the Clone Wars.
Wait, you're not Char.
What gave it away?
Malik, how are you doing today, Malik?
I'm doing great, thank you.
As everybody can notice, Malik is filling in for Char. He was not able to make it tonight. Kind of ironic that we're talking about Boba when he's the biggest Boba stan. So, if you follow Char J, give him a hard time for missing this episode because it's his favorite character. We're going over season 2, episode 20 through 22. And we'll talk a little bit of Book of Boba at the end. There'll be stuff that we bring in as well.
Just call me Char's much more handsome variant.
Yeah, absolutely. But let's get into it, guys.
He never would have made it as Obi-Wan's Padawan, but you might make it as mine.
Guys, we've got awesome guests for this episode. I'm very, very excited to bring on a member of the Pink Milk Podcast, M.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm so good. How are you?
Oh, I'm just peachy. So I just want to say thank you for filling in. I really do appreciate you coming on. I love your guys' stuff that you guys do. And
Thank
I know you
you.
guys do a whole bunch, especially with the LGTB. I'm screwing this up. I'm sorry.
LGBTQ plus.
Yes,
There you
yes, yes. So I think that it's good that we're getting more representation out there because Star Wars is for everybody and
is.
it shouldn't be exclusive. So I appreciate you coming on. And
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's great to share this space with you guys.
no, yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Brendan from Cloud City Conversations. How's it going?
How's it going, guys?
How are you doing? Ready to talk
I'm
some Boba?
I'm doing pretty good, feeling some Boba Fett. I just watched all the episodes today.
Nice.
Book of Boba Fett's out. How could you have timed this so perfectly?
I
don't know.
didn't. I didn't. The funny part is that I completely forgot that it was gonna be coming out until like maybe 2 months ago, and I was like, this was good timing. But I like to ask this of guests all the time. I like to ask this little question. How did you get into this little thing that we like to call Star Wars? And I'll start with M.
Yeah, so when I was 5 or 6-ish, my babysitter had a VHS copy of Return of the Jedi. And so she would put it on to like shut us up and sit us in front of it. So I saw like the first 42 minutes of Return of the Jedi like 16 times
Wow.
before my mom came and picked me up.
That's awesome. Best babysitter of the year, right?
Yeah.
Right.
But when my mom learned that I enjoyed it and that I thought it was interesting, she really encouraged me to engage more with Star Wars. And so she got me books and comics, and I got to see all the movies, and we went to see the prequels in the theater the first time they were released because I am old. So
hey, I saw Phantom Menace when I was 5.
Mhm.
And that was my first ever movie movie period as a kid.
Aw,
And I grew up with the prequels, and like Clone Wars in particular helped that era so much.
truly.
So those characters resonate for me, and I like the original trilogy, but like the prequel trilogy is what I grew up with, so that's kind of my favorite. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love that.
no, yeah, absolutely. Brendan, same question, my guy.
So I asked this question to every single one of my guests that comes on.
Well, there you go.
This is people who listen to my podcast will know my story very well. But basically it all kind of started when I was 4, and my uncle had come over from Pennsylvania and was watching Attack on the Clones with my dad in the living room. And it's kind of just like, whoa, what is that? Because it's a Geonosis fight scene. And 4-year-old me is just looking at the TV like, oh my god, what is this?
That is how it
And
is, isn't it?
It's always stuck with me since then. And now I host a podcast interviewing cool Star Wars people. You know?
Oh, yeah.
That's where the road is led.
Dude, there's nothing better than having Star Wars content or being a Star Wars creator. But like it's so awesome to just have like this big community of people that are like-minded, because like me as a kid, a lot of my friends that I see in person aren't big Star Wars fans. So I don't like when something new comes out. Like, I'm so glad that I have this community to just be like, oh my God, did everybody see this? What did you think of this? Did you catch this? That?
Right.
Oh, I love that aspect of the community. So, no, go ahead, Malik.
Go.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I was about to say, if it wasn't for this community, I'd be going mad because I would have no one to talk about all these Star Wars books with.
Yeah, High Republic. We'll talk a little bit of that later. I'm really excited about Fallen Star. It might just be my favorite book of all time. It might literally crush me on my birthday. That's how this is gonna work. So, yeah, I know it's gonna be bad, but guys, let's get into the episode. So we're gonna be going over the Boba Fett arc of the Clone Wars, which is season 2, episodes 21, 22, and 20. 20, 21, 22. And this is actually the end of season 2. So we're wrapping up the year and we're wrapping up the season. So let's get into it. This is where
I would like to ask, like, was everyone else here? Were they watching Clone Wars live as it premiered?
Oh, absolutely.
So, like, what was your reaction when they dropped that first trailer and you see young Boba and he's like kicking ass?
I might have been too young to see trailers come out, but I did watch them.
I just remember there being previews and thinking like, oh my God.
Yeah, I was would I be freshman in high school at that point? I think I might have been.
So young.
I was like 2000. Wait, hold on. I'll be able to tell you the year. 2010. Yeah, I was a freshman in high school when this episode came out. So I remember watching trailers and being like, oh, that's cool. But I was kind of like at that point to where Star Wars wasn't as big of thing. But like we all have our, like when you're in high school, you're like, oh, I'm over that stage. But like a little bit of me was like, nah, I'm never going to be over this. This is just something that stuck with me. But no, like that's I remember like the little bit of the trailer, like seeing Boba, and I was like, huh, that's an interesting take, because you don't really see any of like the bounty hunters a ton in the Clone Wars, except for we had the bounty hunter episode in season 2.
Yeah.
And then I guess we do see a whole lot of bounty hunters throughout, but it's like it's more or less just like the Clone Wars aspect. But so usually Char J, go follow him on TikTok. He usually does the plot summary. Malik, do you want to do the plot summary?
All right. I guess I got the water for this. All right. Let me pull it up real quick. All right. Let's see if I can do my Tom Kane here. Calm before the storm. A rare and welcome respite from endless battle awaits Jedi Knights Anakin Skywalker and Mace Windu as they travel through deep space aboard the Jedi cruiser Endurance. Preparing to rendezvous with the Republic of frigate. Messed that up. The Jedi remain unaware of a deadly peril lying hidden in their midst.
That was good.
Gotta do that 2 more times, apparently.
Yeah, apparently. I mean, if you're not up to it, we might have to flip-flop, but that's okay. So the first episode in this arc is called Death Trap. So like the first shots of this episode are of cadets, clone cadets. And so they all have, obviously, I think it's hilarious that they all have different like haircuts. Some of them are like bald, some of them have like the fade. And then it goes down the line, and we see a long-haired clone.
I'll also say, guys, like, feel free to like cut. If you have something to say, feel free to like cut us off at all.
With angry eyes.
Yeah.
He has the angriest eyes.
No, yeah. And we see Boba Fett. This is our second canon sighting of Boba Fett at this point throughout the entire canon canonical of Star Wars. I thought this was a really interesting take, because even in Legends, I don't think we had a really big grasp on what Boba Fett was doing in Legends, right?
You mean like around this time era?
Yeah, around this time era.
Mm.
So to kind of see him like actually wanting like, because I really want, I'm not a big Legends person from what I remember, but like I never, canon wise, we never really got anything up until the Clone Wars about what Boba Fett was doing during that time period.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, you guys can correct me if I'm
No,
wrong.
I believe
No
you're
idea.
correct. I mean, I don't know if I read very extensively through Legends, like s- uh, books and properties that would have featured Boba Fett, because I was always more of like I was always reading all the Sith Lord stuff.
Oh, okay. So you're the old Republic. So you're the old Republic then.
Yeah. And like like bounty hunters were not really my thing back then. But yeah, so like I wouldn't, if he did appear, I wouldn't have really gravitated to his material with him. I did like Tales from Jabba's Palace, which described his escape from the Sarlacc.
Ooh.
But yeah.
I think
Malik?
the closest I have in Legends to that era is probably it's the closest I have to the era, but I have the Han Solo Legends trilogy. I know he has like a role in that. As you see him, it's before A New Hope, and you like see him like interacting with Han. But like that's like the most I have on like Boba's early Legends like career.
Oh
Right.
yeah. So seeing Boba and like he goes under the nickname Lucky, which I don't know if that's like a hint or a nod to something, but he sure does get lucky a lot in this damn episode, in particular. So they are on a voyage to the Star Destroyer Endurance, who Anakin and Mace Windu are both on.
Yep.
Hence why Boba is going there. And like the interactions with these clones. Can we just talk about that for a little bit?
It's a little uncomfortable because it's like, oh, like it's like school. They're training for war.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like they go down the hall in one of them and he goes, what he's talking about like the starting engines, and these kids are getting these. And I'm like they don't just only have to learn about the ships. They have to learn everything tactically. So like to think about it, like Jango Fett, like they're copies of him. And to think that Jango Fett had all of that knowledge just is insane. Hence why he was one of the greatest bounty hunters in the entire galaxy.
Yeah.
But
looks like you want something you want to say there, Brendan. Looks like you about to open your mouth.
Yeah, I think it's also weird to think like just in general about clones, like almost all the clones we see, like the adult clones, are still like 10 years old. Like those cadets are all 5-year-olds pretty much.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing when we saw all of them. I was like, oh, like what's with the age? Like, how did the aging go with this?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's weird to see, because it's like, okay, clones. So you produce an army of clones, and then I guess you just produce more that are slightly younger. Like what's the logic here in having child clones? Like, wouldn't you just want to age them all the way to childhood? But I guess if you wanted to teach them a bunch of stuff,
that's the
brain
way to do it.
plasticity is, you can use that tactically, I guess.
I really hope they go into for the upcoming Padme novel, like, you know, because I understand she was actually trying to like pass like a couple bills for like clone rights and stuff like that. So like I really hope they like go into like, you know, like how does this, what are the thoughts on this, like in this process? Like, yeah, they're like, these are kids, and like it's just so weird because they're like, isn't it cool to see a lightsaber? You're gonna train to probably die for our cause, but like it's so weird.
Yeah, to see children walking around a Star Destroyer and being like, huh, we're gonna look like them in like probably 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get that. Yeah, well, and I thought that they kind of touched upon it in Bad Batch a little bit. When they go in the penultimate episode, like Omega's like, I saw you guys like grow up. So you kind of have like a little bit of a sense of it, but they don't go a deep dive. And I think we might see that in I think Queen's Hope. I think that's or Queen's Shadow, I mean. We'll see that.
Queen's Hope, I think, is the third one.
It's Hope. Yeah, it's Queen's Hope. Well, I think we'll see that. And then I think in Bad Batch will learn a lot. Bad Batch season 2 will learn a lot more about like the cloning process because they do have Lama Su or Lama Se. I always
Su.
mess them up.
It's Lama Su and
Lamassu,
Nala
Lamassu,
Say.
Nala Se. Yes.
There
Yes.
we go.
So like I think we're gonna get a lot more answers to that question of like how they were able to do that. So like all these kids are like giving Boba a hard time. They're like, "Who are you? Like what regiment are you from?" He's like, "I broke my arm." And one of the kids goes, "If you were a real soldier, you would have they could still fight." And I was like, dude, these people don't understand how badass this guy's going to be in about 30 years.
If you
Like-
only knew.
Yeah, if
Really?
only you knew. He's a man that survives a Sarlacc pit, okay?
Yep.
Not a lot of people can do that, obviously. But so they make their way through the cruiser, and Anakin and Mace show up, and we get a nice little shot of Boba's face, and this is the first time he's actually seeing Mace since episode 2. So obviously, and obviously we're gonna reference Book of Boba, like he's had flashbacks. So like even then, being so fresh in his mind and knowing that he's had these flashbacks, even in the Book of Boba Fett, I can't imagine like how much hatred he really had in that moment for Mace. And I think it's funny because it's like Anakin shows up and he's like being all energetic, and Mace doesn't really say much, and then they get the commander comes in and goes,
Anakin's that guy who's like, "I can't hear you. Come on, guys.
yeah.
I
So
can't hear you."
The wheels on the bus go round and round. Like, come on, guys, let's all together. But like,
But I mean, we all know Anakin loves children. It's a
True.
wide
Oh
known fact.
no!
He loves children.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
Not just the
absolutely.
men,
but the
the
women.
women. And the children, too.
Oh man, gosh, yeah. That's rough.
We'll get to that again later.
That's rough. But then he's like, so they get called back, and he goes, maybe another time. And he really was disappointed. Like, Mace talks to him and goes, "Wow, you're more disappointed than the cadets were." And he's like, "Well, it means a lot to them." And that was nice to hear, because it's like Anakin's like, he knows how important it is to like kind of guide the youth, especially when he has Ahsoka around. I think that's a one thing that really Ahsoka taught him. So from there they go to the cadets
Mace calls him out and says, "You just want to show off, though."
Yes. Yes. He goes, "Whenever I show off, it's always constructive. Like it's always learning." So when we go to the cadets are now doing the target practice. And this is very, very telling. Especially when I think I can't remember the cadet's name, but
I know there's Whiplash.
Yes.
There's the one I can't remember, the one who's like actually like a good kid.
Yes.
Wikipedia, here I come.
Yeah, Wikipedia to the rescue.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I don't remember.
I don't remember either, but like,
episode.
so two of them go up, they miss the targets, and the guy who's shooting the dummy.
It's like droid parts or something like that.
Yeah. He's like I can't remember, but I think he's the same pilot from the last episode, the Zillo Beast episode, because he has the Godzilla from what, remember, Malik? Malik likes to call out the 3 interesting facts. He gets them all the time. So he called the Godzilla reference. So I think that might be the same guy, or they just got really lazy and they just didn't want to make that. So those two miss. They get kind of like scolded, and then Boba gets up. And he's like, "So this is all right, Lucky. Let's see what you can do." And he nails the first one. And the gunner goes, "Now I understand why they call you Lucky. Now let's try 3 of them." And he nails all 3 of them. And there's no red lights going off on anybody's. No, not a thing. Like this kid's great. Like he's exceptional. Like, there's nothing wrong with this kid. And then,
Keep an eye on that one.
yeah. Admiral Killian's like, we'll have to keep an eye on that one. And
Also,
it's
I want to know real quick.
yeah.
Why does Killian have a Scottish accent? Like, what
Yeah.
planet do all humans have Scottish accents? I want to know this.
This is true because we've got British accents, we've got American English accents as well. That is a good point because I think he's like, there's not a ton of like Scottish.
It's the only one off the top of my head I can think of, actually.
No, yeah,
But I do have those names as well.
no, yeah, he's like Admiral Killian is by far the definition of a great captain because he is to the book.
He gives I don't know what it is. He gave off major Imperial vibes.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah, he feels like a proper Imperial officer that I'd be fighting sometime in the OG trilogy era.
I mean, yeah, but then he also is. So, I mean, he's more of like I don't know. I agree. I think there's good parts of Killian though, because you can see it throughout the entire arc that he is very useful and he's gonna do something. If he's gonna do something, he's gonna do it. He's not gonna stray away from it. But what was everybody's thoughts on the shooting course part in particular?
I think it's a fun part.
Yeah, it's like I mean, it's obvious that Boba's exceptional, right? Like this is what it's pointing to in the story. It's like this is the message that we're supposed to get. But I think it's important to send that message because it's important to the story because it's sort of softens us on the idea that he thinks he can take on a Jedi. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's like normal, like if you were to sit me down and tell me like I have a story about a child that tries to assassinate a Jedi, I'd be like, how does he not get swatted like a mosquito in like the first 5 seconds? You know, so it's like this is an important story beat because it's like, okay, I get it. Okay, like he has confidence and he has natural ability.
Oh yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
And like those two things, you know, he's obviously very capable, and so now there's actual stakes.
No, yeah, absolutely. There absolutely are stakes.
Yeah,
and you learn pretty quickly that Boba, he is confident, but he's also still is like he's not quite sure what he wants to do.
Yeah,
he's just at that point in his life where he's got a goal, and that goal is to kill Mace Windu.
Yeah,
but like that's the only goal. Like anything else, he really doesn't know what to do.
Very single-minded. Yeah.
So the cadets.
Let's say, Brendan, you got thoughts on the flight on the targeting sequence?
Not on the targeting sequence, but I want to talk about something real quick. The music in this episode is phenomenal. Every the Boba Fett score on this, I want to hear it in Book of Boba Fett so bad. Like I know everyone's gushing over Boba Fett's music in the Book of Boba Fett right now, and also in the Mandalorian. But his music in the Clone Wars, I don't know. It's for me. I think it's better.
Really,
I think there's a lot more emotion behind the music in this, but it also makes sense because of Boba's more emotional and, like you guys were saying, single-minded on revenge. But I don't know. I think the music in this episode is much better than anything Book of Boba Fett so far.
That's interesting.
Maybe it's a hot take.
It might be.
To be fair, this is like what end of season 2. We just started the Book of Boba, but we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see.
My opinion can always change.
Yeah, it's always that's how things usually are in Star Wars. Everything's changing. So resuming their tour of the ship, Boba gets the ability of being able to get out of like everybody else is distracted, and he's he's able to get away. He contacts Aura Singh, which, by the way, if you get footed with one person, I don't think I want it to be Aura Singh. She scares me.
Oh, God.
She's dangerous, and throughout this entire arc, it's.
I'll tell you what, she did not scare younger Malik. Younger Malik was like, whoa.
Nice.
Oh my
Malik's like,
god!
I know
wow.
what I want in a woman. It's aura sing. That's what I want. Oh,
You and Hondo
Malik.
have something in common, I guess.
Dude,
but-
that's a huge compliment to me. You have no idea how much that like means to me. I love Hondo so much.
Oh, Hondo.
Then we got something in common.
Dude,
Nice.
Hondo's great. So he
I-
contacts. No, yeah, go ahead, Malik.
I wish you could have seen me when I went to Galaxy's Edge because I forgot Hondo is on Smuggler's Run. So like when I walk up to like the room where like you're about to get in the cockpit and I see Hondo on the monitor, I like, oh my god, it's Hondo! And like everyone's there just like just looking at me. I'm like, sorry.
Oh my god!
I will say one thing about Malik, and you'll learn this throughout the episode. If there's funny parts, Malik's laugh is the most infectious thing ever. So just be ready to
Nice.
just cry.
It's a
laughing
blessing
through
and a
this.
curse.
No, it's not a curse. It's a
Oh
blessing.
no, it's a curse.
No, it's not. It's not Malik. Stop telling yourself that. So Aura Singh ends up giving Boba directions to like schematics of the ship. Which,
Yep.
by the way, how the hell does that work? Like, is it just public knowledge?
Well, she's an infiltrator, isn't she? Like, isn't that one of her skills? Like,
Yeah,
she is
she's-
known kind of for stealth, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
I guess that makes sense, but I was like, it's like the military. It's not like we can go in and hack everything, but then yet again, some of these things are common knowledge. So it just might be one of those cases where it's common knowledge of a schematic of a Venator. I don't know.
I mean, it could be,
Hmm.
yeah. Well, I mean, because if they're mass manufactured, if you have the schematics for one, you have the schematics for all of them, right?
This is
If that's
true.
just like a security breach that they have, like, you know,
Um,
I mean, maybe she bribed somebody at CEC
Yeah.
or something. Like,
I was
we don't
thinking,
know.
am I remembering this wrong? Doesn't she say like she like tortured someone for it? I may be remembering this wrong because I didn't get to watch the episode fully because I got pulled in this last minute. But
Oh,
like,
yeah.
does she have a line? She's all like, "I got it the hard way" or something like that.
I think she does say something like that.
All right, well, there you go.
I think that might have
I'm
been.
not. I'm not sure. I might be remembering it
Or
wrong. so
saying in
I'm
her wicked
asking.
ways.
Dude, I mean, I wouldn't put it past her. After everything
Yeah,
that happens
truly.
in this arc, it really doesn't surprise me.
Yeah.
But Brendan, what
Yeah.
you got
Oh,
anything to add
I
on the
was-
Aura Sting thing?
I had some thoughts. I'm thinking maybe Boba got it from, maybe since he's been on Camino the whole time, or like he grew up on Camino, so he's been around these Venators probably his entire life. These these aren't built on Camino, are they? No.
No, they're built on Corellia, I believe,
Yeah. That's a brain fart. Wow.
where everything is. I mean, that's where the Imperial Navy is built as well.
I
So
play Empire War. I should know this.
no, but like, I think I was just like thrown off. I was like, okay, so everybody has everything, and then after hearing M say, well, she could have just gotten it from somebody else. I'm like, okay, yes, this is Star Wars. Nothing's impossible. So,
Somehow.
but yeah, somehow.
Oh,
some way.
okay. So, according to Wikipedia, the manufacturer of the Venator class Star Destroyers are the Kuat Drive Yards.
Ah,
Oh,
cool. Hmm.
Kuat. What
So,
planet are they? Is that just the Kuat system then?
Yep.
Yeah.
I would okay.
I don't
I should
recognize
know
that
this.
name.
I play
Yeah.
Empire at War. You can only build like flat capital ships on certain planets in Empire at War. Well, in the mod I play.
okay. Oh,
I
okay.
play the. If you guys are big fans of strategy games, I recommend Empire at War. Get it on Steam. Get the Rise of Palpatine mod. It's my favorite mod.
Oh, there you go. There you go. We're learning a lot. We're learning a lot.
Nice.
So Boba gets the location of Mace's quarters. He ends up running into two clone troopers, and they heckle him. I'm like, gosh, he gets heckled again. It's like, people, stop underestimating this kid. Stop it. Stop it.
He
right
almost
now.
craps a brick. He's like, we know
Yes.
what you are. He's like, you're lost. They're like, yes.
He's like, yeah, Mace Windu's quarters or General Windu's quarters, and they're like, they're down back that way, Shiny. And I was like, wait, so it's not just clone troopers that are that are actual full-grown stormtroopers. It's just anybody that's new is a shiny. So that's interesting. I always
Mhm.
I always put it with the new recruit, not new recruits, but the new official clone troopers. So that was interesting. I didn't know that all the old guys called them shinies, just for being new.
Can I
But
also
Malik,
say how bad is that like cadet troop leader that he doesn't notice that Boba's gone all this time?
I know, like, are they doing head counts?
Yeah, he doesn't go like, wait a second.
dude, and it's like it truly. Boba couldn't have picked a better name in Lucky because, like I said, he gets lucky this entire episode. So he ends up making it to Mace's quarters. He sets up the bomb so that it triggers when he walks through the door. He leaves, he gets back with the group, and he immediately gets asked a question. And without fail, he answers the damn question. And it's like, dude, what the hell?
It's smart.
He is. And
He is double the age of every single one of those cadets.
yeah, seriously. Like, all the cadets are just like, all right. And they just keep on walking. Nothing's happened. And then we get a shot of Mace going into his quarters, and a trooper tells him that he needs to go back to the bridge. And he's like, I will in a second. And this poor clone trooper, just is so adamant. Just so adamant.
I'm sorry, it's just so funny because basically, like, no, well, yeah, all right, I'm gonna walk in. Well, I gotta do this. It's just like, dude,
Yeah.
it's almost comical. It's like his
It
foot's
is.
like right there, and it's like, so sorry. He's requesting he needs you now. All right,
Yeah.
fine. Put it in my quarters, and boom.
Yeah, just blows up. And this is Mace's thoughts. Oh shit! Like, good thing I didn't step in there. That
Well,
would
that's not
me.
supposed to happen.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. And I put in the notes, I was like, the Force works in mysterious ways. Like, just like the Force is just like, hey, clone trooper, like, we're going to make this happen. You're going to walk in there so that the Jedi doesn't die. We have a purpose for him still. But like, and then so once the bomb goes off, everything just goes to hell in the ship. They go to lockdown. Boba, that he gets away from the group again, and like they're just, it's like, head count, people, turn around. Like, it's a school trip.
I also asked another thing about that clone cadet leader. Why in the Force did he choose that haircut? Why? It's awful.
Yeah, let's talk about the haircut, because it's not good looking. It's not good. I mean, goodness.
Leave my boy Crasher alone.
Yeah.
He chose the Michael Scott haircut.
Yeah, it's like, what?
Yeah.
Oh man. So they so Mace, obviously, he commands that they put the whole ship on lockdown and try to find the trigger man, the assassin among them. Choco just timed it. Not everybody can be Hauser. I mean, you're not.
They sure can't.
I mean, you're not wrong. Hauser is a good-looking clone. I cannot lie.
Truly. Yes.
He's just got everything going on for him.
Facts.
He just does. So Boba with the group. Obviously, he finds out that no, he doesn't find out Mace is still alive. He goes to the reactor room first. Aura tells him to go to the reactor room and to obviously blow up the reactor. So he goes in there. He sneaks in. A clone trooper is like, "Hey, what are you doing in here?" He kind of plays off like, "Oh, I'm lost again." But then the trooper's like, "Okay, I'll get you to where you're supposed to be going." And Boba is like, he beats he takes the gun from the clone trooper.
Yep.
And he has this moment where he's like, I can't kill. Like he says later on in the episode that they're not brother. He's not brothers with anybody.
That's right.
But this moment contradicts that so much, because if he didn't have any feeling about these clones, he wouldn't have stunned them. He would have straight up shot them. Thoughts
Yeah.
on that?
So let our guest go first.
I definitely think it's more Boba trying to force that onto himself. I think he really does care a lot. You see it again in this episode later when he's leaving the cadets.
Mm-hmm.
He's showing a lot of remorse while he's doing that.
Yeah.
And I think he's like one of those kids who's trying to be cold but really isn't cold. You know, that's what I think.
I also I think that his youth also, like, I think that when you're younger, it's harder to commit to things. It's harder to like if you're committing to like killing somebody, you know, like he might just not feel ready for that either. Like it might be a sign of his youth and immaturity.
Oh yeah.
You know, he's not ready to do something that can't be undone and take the consequences.
I always felt it's more so like for me, it's like he's looking into the eyes of his father. Like he's
That's
just
exactly.
He's looking to the eyes, and in light of that, like
Yes.
that this is his father's legacy. Like he just not too long ago, he watched his father get decapitated. Could you then shoot your father's voice and face like point
Face,
blank?
yeah.
Like for me, like that was the
that
moment
is-
why he couldn't pull the trigger, and that's why like
It's
he
true.
like
his helmet came off in that scene, didn't
I
it?
feel like we need to talk about that more, like when we talk about clones, about like what it means to live communally with all of these people that are like a mirror image of you, you know?
Yeah.
And how that affects you like emotionally, to just be surrounded by these beings that have their own thoughts and feelings and their own experiences and are going to develop along a different path than you might, or might have a different temperament, and yet they look just like you. Like that must be such a mind fuck.
that, and like grieving
yeah.
would be like almost like nearly impossible to like process, because someone brought up Rex loses like all these brothers, but he can't, like he has to still look at all their faces, and he's it's a constant reminder. Like it's a very like uniquely dark situation.
Oh yeah. And I mean, it's almost like looking at yourself.
Yeah.
Like he loses a part of himself because they look like him, they talk like him. They might not necessarily have the same personality, which is great, because I think that's what the Clone Wars does very, very well, is bring in personalities and giving these clones different personalities, because they're not all the same.
No.
They might look the same, but they aren't.
Well, I mean, that's the other cool thing, is that even though like their facial structure is the same, they all get different haircuts, they get tattoos, they paint their armor, you know, they all each one tries to distinguish themselves. Yeah, and like turn themselves into an individual rather than just becoming part of this faceless collective, which I think is very humanizing. Like I said on Pink Milk, it's almost like the writers are making an argument for the existence of a soul. You know, it's like every being has this unique essence that is like singular to that being, to that entity. And even though on the outside they all look exactly identical, they strive to distinguish themselves and differentiate themselves from each other and express their uniqueness.
No, yeah, absolutely. Like you hit the nail on the head with it, and that's just great.
I do like to, because to fast forward a little bit, like several years in the sequel era, in one of my favorite books, Phasma, we get like a more in-depth look at how like First Order troopers are treated. It's not like they stomp out any individuality like fast, like no customizations, no like not even like to speak up. Like there's a moment when a trooper like actually answers a question and like idle conversation, they go like no. And I was curious, like, is that like them learning their lessons from the clones, and how like, you know, some of them got like, I remember like the Kaminoans say that like they are actually really annoyed at the Jedi because they're having like a weird effect on the clones, like they're being more independent and more like individuals. And I wonder if like the First Order looks at that and goes, yeah, no, not having that problem. So they're like, of course they fail anyway, but still it's like, oh yeah, like no individuality whatsoever.
Yeah, well, because there were, as we saw, there are clones that are able to fight their chip, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, you know, they would come to the conclusion that, you know, being an individual helps you to resist that programming. And so
Yep.
if you want someone to be completely submissive to your will, you have to stamp out their individuality and crush their spirit.
Oh,
There were clones
Sad,
that
but true.
there are clones that just didn't obey it and had the chip still in. Oh, it's news to me.
Well,
What am I missing?
We don't see that their chip
Mm.
is damaged or removed.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
but not all of them comply, and not all of them comply without struggle.
Yes, so we got again.
Yes.
There's Gray and Styles from Kanan the Last Padawan, who after they do their the Order 66, they actually ask, why did we do this? Like, hold up, why was this a thing? And they like ask questions hard, and they actually turn on the Empire. There's Rex, who like was able to fight it for that little bit and got out that fine 5s, which led to him being able to get his chip removed, and then finding out the biggest example, 5s, and Tup, like their chips were. And it's again the clones became like their own persons, and again those chips became like much more of a. It was so fascinating to see the Bad Batch as well, probably the most individualistic clones, and like their chips like didn't affect them at all. It's
that's true. I was thinking more of like basically what happened to the Bad Batch were like normal. I thought you guys were like describing like clones like, hey, what are you guys doing?
No.
No.
It would have been cool to see that. We didn't see that.
No,
So
yeah,
it's
that
like-
would have been interesting.
If it was like if Rex couldn't fight it off he fought it off a little bit, but if he eventually fell to it, like what clone was so individualistic that they fought it off? Other than Bad Batch.
Well, think about this. Who's the one that we saw in season? No, it's season 2. It's
Cut LaQuaine.
Cut. Think about Cut.
Does Cut have a chip still?
See, that's an interesting thing.
I bet Rex went to go take it out when he went because Rex was there.
That makes sense. But like he's been so far removed.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the very first. I from what I remember, Cut was in the first Battle of Geonosis, and then a little bit after that, he went MIA.
Yeah.
So who knows where his chip is?
How are the chips activated? Do we know for sure?
I think you have to. I think you have to see or get the message from Palpatine for it to activate.
Okay.
Because it all came through their comms.
Yes.
So it all came through their comms, and Cut obviously wasn't enlisted at that point, so he wouldn't have gotten the message. But like. That's an interesting thing to think about because, like, if you think of like that's a Matt Martin, Pablo Hidalgo question right there. Like,
tweets him like, "Hey, get on the show and answer our questions."
Can you imagine if the Jedi were to implement like an order system like that? It was like, all right, we're gonna have these orders for our clones or like formations and stuff. And like, here's Order 66.
There were
shit.
There were actually a bunch of different orders that like there was actually one where all the clones turn on whoever is in the Chancellor's office. And the one that was in Legends that I really want to bring back because I think it was really cool. There was one that Palpatine put in. I think it was Order 67, whereas every clone would then turn on Anakin Skywalker. And if Anakin like ever became like too much of a problem for Palpatine, it was addressed in Legends, I believe. But like every clone would then hunt down Anakin. That's such he had every contingency ready.
Don't say that. That's my favorite character. That would have saved us all a lot. No, it wouldn't have saved us a lot. Palpatine still would have taken over. But
he would have made Quinlan Voss his apprentice. Probably.
Oh my god. Oh, that hurts. But like whenever I hear of like other orders, I think of the Robot Chicken when he's going down the shaft and he's like, execute Order 67, execute Order 67, and it shows the Ewoks on the other side. And they do like this techno dance. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Order 68, Order 68. I was just like, that's what I thought when I hear that.
Anyway, back to Boba.
Back to the Boba.
We had a nice little sidetrack there.
No, it was great. So he ends up stunning the clone, but ends up killing him by association, I guess, because he shoots the reactor core, and we obviously that's going to explode, which is probably going to kill that clone. So he's okay with shooting the reactor core as long as he doesn't shoot him.
Boba's played so much capital supremacy.
Oh yeah.
He won. He's soloed the map.
No, yeah, yeah. That's just man. So the Jedi at this point are trying to figure out what's going on. Killian's told them all systems are down. We're pretty much floating in space, and we're going down. We're going down. And Anakin and Mace are like, you got to get out of here. And he goes, he literally says the most pirate thing, either pirate or shipton
sailor,
captain,
you're just a sailor
thing. A captain goes down with his ship, and I was like, I respect that. I respect that a lot. I'm with this guy. So he ends up convincing the Mace and Anakin to leave without him, and with 2 other clones and 2 other officers who come with that they also stay.
Yeah, I think Pons is one of them. Yeah.
Yeah, Pons. I can't remember the other one. It's Pons. Just looks like it's Pons. So after Boba destroys the reactor core, he makes it up with the cadets. No questions asked at all. Gets in the pod, they jettison, and their pod ends up not meeting up with the rest of them. So they're like, oh well, we've got to figure this out. And then all of a sudden we hear the sound, the very what is it? What's the word I'm looking for? Familiar. There we go. See, words are hard, guys. Math is hard and words are hard. But we hear the familiar sound of the fire spray. And we end up seeing the fire spray docking with the escape pod. We see it. The doors open, and Aura Singh comes out and says, "Look what we've got here." Bosk is also there, and I think this is the first time we see Bosk.
Oh my guy.
Yeah, Bosk. This is the first canon sighting of Bosk. If I'm pretty sure at this point. So
yes,
it's revealed to the cadets that Boba is Boba Fett, and he's lucky. All of the clone cadets are obviously upset, and they call him a traitor. And that cuts a lot deeper than it really shows with Boba, because you can see that remorse again.
Mm-hmm.
And he like you said, it's the immaturity, and he struggles with it, but it's also like a natural thing to be a kid. And if you're not committed to something, it's so hard to try to force yourself to do it. And you can really see that throughout the entire arc, but especially in this first episode, because he doesn't decide to shoot the clone, and he doesn't he's hesitant to kill the cadets. Yeah. Anybody else's thoughts on the cadets having that conversation even after they get let go into space, and how they talk about Boba and how he's a traitor? Open floor. Who wants to go?
Overall, I will stand by this opinion. I don't think Boba is evil. Like, he's always portrayed as a villain and an antagonist, but I think in the overall morality, he's morally questionable, but he's not evil. Like, he is still human. He's not this. I don't know. I think in the Book of Boba Fett's doing a really good job at that too, because he's like, we're gonna rule with respect. We're gonna rule. We're not gonna rule with fear. We're not gonna torture. We're not gonna murder. Like, I don't think Boba is a bad guy. I will stand by that opinion.
I see that.
Wrong, obviously.
I see that.
Yeah.
Em, your thoughts?
Yeah, I feel like, the thing is, telling the story of Boba, it's like, there's a lot of conflict because he does do some bad things. And so if you're going to tell his backstory, but you know that the audience wants to see him as a hero, you have to sort of show things that will justify his character arc, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, so what are his motivations to do bad things in his life and then find redemption. So this is kind of, this backstory is sort of like planting the seed. You know, you see his conflict. Like, this is what we've been talking about through this whole thing, is like, he's conflicted. He's not fully committed to murdering people, even when it will attain his ends. And yet he has this singular focus on avenging his father, which, if it went the way he wanted it to, would result in the assassination of a Jedi. Right?
Yep.
So I feel like they hit some good like story beats in sort of giving him this believable, like you empathize with him, but he also has rational, like understandable reasons for doing things where you're like, maybe that's not the best choice, you know, but you can see why he's doing it.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. And I mean, he even mutters an apology to the cadets as he leaves.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are times where Boba is not morally, he doesn't make the right decision, but like, he does struggle throughout this entire arc.
Yeah.
The cadet leader, again, worst teacher, worst cadet leader in the entire Clone Wars. Like, he loses his cadets. He doesn't do head counts. He gets the Jedi to look for the pod because, oh, we've lost one. Man. Great
To be
job.
fair, the cadets didn't notice he was gone either.
This is true. This
Fair.
is true.
Well, they're told to just like pay attention, listen. You know, I can see them not noticing. Their job is to pay attention to their leader and just and like, you know, keep aware of the ship. You know.
No, yeah. And Anakin and Mace end up finding them, and Admiral Killian, back on the Endurance, tries to land a badly damaged ship, and that's where we're left off to the next episode. It's called R2 Come Home, and let me tell you, if you guys know me, you'll know R2-D2 is my boy. I love R2. If I could choose a droid to be my companion, it would be R2. And this episode just like confirms it. Like, he's the GOAT. He is by far the GOAT.
I
Malik?
want BB-90.
Ooh, that's a good one too.
She's seen the shit.
BD1.
Anyway.
BD1.
Oh my gosh, BD1.
BD's great.
Yeah, BD1. Oh man, Jedi Fallen Order. I tell you
Cutest
what.
droid ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
He really
absolutely.
is. He's the cutest thing. Like, every time he's on screen, he's the cutest thing on screen.
Right?
So-
He's just like a puppy. He's a lost little puppy.
Oh god, I love him so much.
No,
He
yeah,
saves me from
absolutely.
Vader.
Yeah,
I crapped a brick when Vader grabs him. Like, oh no.
Same.
not BD. Come
But
on.
for me, I love myself a good old fashioned war criminal. I love Chopper.
Oh, I forgot
he
about
is-
Chopper.
He's killed so many people.
You know, Chopper's just like that redheaded stepchild, you know? He's just gonna do whatever he wants. Like, he's not gonna listen to mom and dad. Whereas R2's just a sarcastic, like, but he's a good sarcastic little droid. Like,
Yeah,
he is so reliable. Like,
it's true.
if that is Anakin's old reliable,
yeah,
and
he's
he's
one
my
of the
old
most
reliable.
loyal droids in
Ah.
the galaxy. For
And the fact that
sure.
he has seen everything from the entire saga just
Yeah.
blows my freaking mind. Like, he's never had his mind wiped, not ever.
I like that no one ever trusts R2 besides whoever owns him.
I know.
Everyone's all like, you
A
trust
droid?
that thing?
Why would you trust a droid?
Dude, what? It's like Bale. He knows where all the bases are. Like, what? We can't. Like, what are we doing here? Talk to the droid. Come on.
Oh my
Don't treat them as second-class citizens, okay? This man is smart. He's a droid.
Well, you know,
my
and
my
this
guy's
is-
part of the droid gotcha.
God. This is
Oh.
on topic for Mace Windu's R2 slander, with which
Yeah.
he begins the
See?
Does not pass the
episode.
vibe
See,
check.
it's not the fact that Mace Windu was kind of a jerk to Anakin Skywalker. It
And
was
Ahsoka.
and Ahsoka. It's the fact that he slandered my boy R2. That's the issue I have here. And if Chaco's still in here, you cannot defend your boy on this R2 slander. You cannot. It's not fair. But I will let it stand.
He deserved to become Mace Windu.
Ooh!
And he
Yes!
remained Mace Windu because he is not alive.
Yes. Can we just put a nail in the coffin for that one? Please, for the love of God. If he shows up in Book of Boba, I'm just gonna shut off the TV. I'm gonna walk outside and I'm gonna scream.
Mace Windu!
Just die already!
Mace Windu, that's so
Oh.
Oh my god.
That's what we call him on Pig Milk.
That's so good.
We do love a
Mace
pun.
Windu. That's great. Mace Windu.
Oh my god.
Sid is in this.
Yeah. You've done your job, citizen. And it's like, screw you. I don't need that.
This was
Yeah.
actually a great
Wait.
test. Really?
No, it
do
wasn't.
people just like Mace Windu because it's Samuel L. Jackson? Because like Mace
Okay.
Windu, and everywhere he's in, he's just not a likable character. It's just everyone likes
And the
Samuel
purple
Jackson.
lightsaber. And the
And
purple
the
I-
purple
lightsaber.
lightsaber. I do love my purple lightsaber.
I'm not gonna go that far. He has some like redeemable moments. Like, he's great in the Ryloth arc. The Xylo Beast arc, he's fantastic.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, he's not like all the time like a jerk.
Oh,
No,
he was
yeah.
really funny in season 7 where he's like, "I've killed thousands of you. You can all surrender." that was funny.
He does have some redeeming qualities. Sometimes I'm kind of with
The-
M on this one because like it's not my favorite character, but I
Well,
do
you're
understand.
first off, you're an Anakin fan, so of course you're not gonna like Mace Windu.
Hey, if you didn't understand my TikTok of Anakin stands saying that there's nothing wrong, there's a difference between me and an
No,
Anakin
no,
stan.
but I said you're an Anakin fanboy. Of course you're not gonna like Mace Windu.
Okay, but I don't hate them as much as the other Anakin fans do. like I understand Anakin had a lot of things wrong. He screwed up a ton.
That's not what's
Yes,
for
he
debate.
did.
It's like I'm debating whether or not you hate Mace Windu, and it makes sense because you fall under Anakin.
It's not. Hate's a strong word. You know.
We got him, R2.
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Anyway,
I can't get over the citizen comment. As you see, I may not be an Anakin stan, but I'm an Ahsoka stan.
yeah,
But,
that was a gut punch.
uh,
So now we're into episode 21. R2 come home. Malik, I'll take this one.
Okay.
Ready? Revenge! Boba Fett, son of the notorious bounty hunter Jango Fett, infiltrated a Jedi cruiser in an attempt to assassinate General Mace Windu, the man who killed his father. After a near miss at Windu's quarters, Boba was forced to destroy the cruiser and escape with the help of notorious bounty hunter Aura Singh. Now, having lost contact with Admiral Killian when his doomed starship crashed, the Jedi searched for survivors with aid of a Republic rescue ship.
Mhm.
Whew.
the
That's a
disrespect
lot.
to Bosk in that intro.
Hey, that's what
Yeah,
I know. I'm mad at Tom Kane.
Okay, all right, okay. Don't take it out on me. I'm just reading what is in front of me.
I'm not hating the messenger. Don't worry.
Okay, good. All right. So we get an awesome shot of the down Venator before, like when he's talking, and it's very reminiscent of obviously what happens in season 7, like the down Venator there. Like, I'm full on Republic. Like, if I could choose a faction, it'd be the Republic, because their ships look cooler, they're more effective. Stop with the First Order. Stop it. Anyway, I mean, they're a lot more expensive, but like with money comes better stuff. Sometimes, not all the time, but like the Jedi cruisers are cool. The Jedi ships, the starfighters are cool. The Arc 170s, just like everything looks more slick and cool, whereas like the rebellion in the Empire, the Empire is very uniform. Like the rebellion's like a little bit flashy, but like they get the hand-me-downs, whereas the Republic is like state-of-the-art stuff.
I love the rebellion.
That's
my faction.
The rebellion's great. And what's your faction?
Yeah, I mean, I like. What is my faction? You know what? Let's just say the rebellion.
Okay.
Hey!
I like a bunch of ragtag underdogs.
Okay. I respect that.
You know, no one's ever asked me that question before. Well, now I know my answer.
There you go.
Well, my team wins because we have Gwendolyn Christie, so.
Just because you have Brienne of Tarth doesn't make you a winner.
She was great in A Midsummer Night's Dream.
I did not know she was in that.
I've never seen it. I'm gonna have to watch
it. It's a stage play.
Look,
gotcha.
If Gwendolyn Christie would have brought the guy that plays Tormund to the First Order, I might join the First Order.
He was in an episode of The Witcher. Believe it or not.
I am on episode 2 of The Witcher. I just started it because I'm like, all right,
the first
get
season?
into it. Yep.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
I have to watch it when my girlfriend's not around because she doesn't like it.
Yeah. So obviously Mace and Anakin have lost communication with both Admiral Killian and Commander Pons and some other other clones or officers that were on the ship when it went down.
Yep.
They land. Anakin and Mace have a back and forth about droids. Mace, I swear, you dog my boy again. That's the thing I was saying this entire episode. I'm like, all right, you're gonna regret that later. It's gonna come back to bite you.
Yeah.
But like you guys are acting like the worries about R2 aren't valid though, because like it's like literally like Obi-Wan asked, well, where's R2? And we see him just like screaming, full blown barreling into the wall next shot.
That's true. He's chaotic.
So the concerns about they are valid. Sorry, cut you off there.
Look, he's not as chaotic as Chopper, all right?
Okay. Yes.
As long as Chopper is around, R2 will always be the most competent droid or astromech in the room.
The fact that R2, Chopper, K2SO, and C-3PO have all been in the same room at one point just warms my heart.
Oh, I forgot about that. That's insane.
Yeah.
Can we get a droid just comic?
Droid story.
Like rebellion
droids.
Yeah, we have a droid story coming.
Droid story. Just have them all go on an adventure. Have Alan Tudyk say some outlandish stuff in an animated show. I am all for it. All for it. They have to go get something from the Empire. I'm in.
And K2SO comes back with a red arm.
Boom. Yeah. Continuity.
I mean, he's probably. I mean, I don't know how you can get a red arm from the dust on Scarab.
You might not have recognized me with the red arm.
So Mace obviously says, can you really trust this droid? And Anakin's like, bro, you have no idea. Like, he's just like, he's done a lot. We blew up a space station when I was a kid. We can do anything. Okay. And R2
He tried spinning. It was a good trick.
Yeah, it was a good trick.
It was a good trick.
And he was a gift from my Y.
Yes.
I can't say that.
Mason and Anakin have very different philosophies when it comes to their astromechs. Mace is very much like, all right, do this, do that. Tell me what you get. And whereas Anakin's like, all right, buddy, do your thing. And I'm like, I love that relationship between Anakin and R2. It just warms my heart. And it hurts it at the same time because just the guy goes through so much.
I love that headcanon in the trench run. The reason why Vader hesitates before he shoots Luke is he notices R2 on the X-Wing.
Oh.
Stop it. Stop it.
Oh,
make
hey.
it lie.
It's like we're in Spain, but the S is silent.
Yeah. What were your guys' thoughts on the R2 Anakin R8 scenario with Mace?
Well, I
You
already
pretty
said.
much
I
summed it
mean,
up.
Mace just looks like a real jerk. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, and also, I mean, like we have the sort of the meta conversation about the treatment of droids in Star Wars, right?
Mm-hmm.
About how they have these personalities and they seem to be relatively sentient or sapient, and yet they're just disposable objects, right? So it's like this tension between, do these creatures, do they have the right to like self-determination? Oh my god, I'm getting all like L3 on everybody.
I love this.
But I mean, I think sometimes in stories where you have this dilemma of self-aware creatures that are indentured, the most comforting way we can see of resolving that, aside from breaking their oppression and liberating them, is to see them as part of a friendship, or to see them find a lot of pleasure in companionship and in service. So it's like that's R2, right? It's like he is unfailingly loyal and he is effective, and like he's just, you can always count on him to like do what needs to be done, or to get it done, or to be creative, and solve a problem for you. And he's so, and he and Anakin have this great friendship. They have this great relationship. And so it's like, as a viewer, you feel good about that, because it's like, okay, like R2, he is indentured, but he is happily so, because he has friendship, he has belonging, right? And then you contrast that with Mace's, with Mace using this astromech as a tool and not acknowledging that there's a possibility of having some kind of companionship there. And you're like, like this guy sucks. He should get thrown out a window.
Oh
I
no.
love that. I am here for it. And you know what? That's just great. I think we just need to clip that and make that like a TikTok of M saying that he deserves to be thrown out a window, and just watch the carnage happen. Just watch everything
Absolutely.
just
It's
fall,
fine.
go
It's
to
fine.
hell.
Like, I'm a woman who talks about Star Wars on the internet, so
Oh,
Oh boy.
heard-
That's a whole nother episode.
Yeah. God, that is
you can't destroy me.
no. You can try, but it'll never work. Oh man, that is a whole nother podcast, Malik. You're absolutely right. So once the Jedi discover the scene, R2 turns the corner, and he comes across the corpse of a clone trooper. And they look and they see that he has a blaster burn. And Mace is like, well, that's definitely not caused by the crash.
Yeah.
And Anakin's like, yeah, that makes sense. That makes a whole lot of sense. And so the two Jedi end up going up into the hold on here, I'm reading this real quick.
Well, it's like the.
Go ahead, Em.
Oh
You
no,
said
I'm just saying.
something
Like,
else.
I'm just saying, like, just to summarize, they end up in the wreckage, right? And
Yep.
they start exploring
Yep.
deeper and deeper until they end up, in a collapse.
Yeah, pretty much. So they get up to like the bridge,
Mhm.
and just so eloquently, there is a Mandalorian helmet. And it's Jango's. And Anakin's like, oh, what's
I'm gonna
this
pick this
doing here? And Mace starts thinking, he's like, Jango Fett. Boba Fett. And he's like, okay, that's not good. Tries to pull Anakin back. Anakin picks up the helmet, and it explodes.
For a second,
Okay.
I thought that's where the dent was going to come from.
See, but the dent, no, but if you look closely, the dent's already there.
Oh, is it?
Yes,
Oh.
the dent is there. When he picks it up, it's on the right. It's on the right hand side. Right hand side, right here. It's on. You can look it up, but I'm pretty darn sure that it's that. I'm pretty sure it's on it. The dent is already there.
Wow.
And the other thing is, why would you explode the helmet? Like, you need it. Like, what are you doing? Like, the continuity there just doesn't make sense to me, because it's like, so how does he repair it? Is it Beskar? It should have been able to like survive the entire explosion, because nothing can destroy Beskar. If I'm remembering this correctly from The Mandalorian, nothing can destroy Beskar. But it's like, so the explosion happens. R2 and R8 at that exact same time are fighting off Gundarks, because remember, we're on Rancor, and as Obi-Wan says, oh, this is the mother of all Gundarks. Oh, so we must be on Rancor. So there's your dead giveaway that we are on Rancor.
It does.
See?
What?
For the win, baby! Yes!
What is this monstrosity?
I know, right? It just doesn't make sense. But then again, we didn't really know what Beskar was technically back in 2010. Because there wasn't any explanation. You might correct me if I'm wrong, but like in the Old Republic, they didn't. The Mandalorian armor wasn't really done a deep dive on, correct?
That's correct. Yes.
Okay. So like it was just armor. They didn't know exactly what it was, and it makes sense. But it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but Beskar is like a mid-era development for Mandalorians.
Okay, I thought so. So like the helmet blows up, they get trapped. R2 ends up getting away from a Gundark. R8 is not very fortunate to get away from a Gundark. R.I.P. R8. R2 is a superior droid. I will not be taking any questions. Mace Windu, you can suck it.
The droid died intentionally to get away from Windu. Changed my mind.
Oh, that's a hot take. That is a hot take.
He'd rather dive and go back.
He's like, he doesn't treat me right at all. I would rather die than go back to Mace Windu.
I mean, I would argue that sort of like as a storytelling device, it's like that old trope about how things that are loved are imbued with like a special quality that other things don't have. So the idea is that because R2 was loved, he was able to withstand the attack in a way that R8, who was just an inanimate object, was not.
The old "when you wish upon a star" love trick, I guess. It's very Disney.
Oh yeah, on point, baby, on point.
That good old mouse.
Oh yeah, the good old mouse. So they see the explosion. We actually get a binocular look from Boba, Bosk, and Aura. Aura's like adamant that he's dead. Boba is also adamant and says, I want to go check because, Jedi have survived a lot worse, apparently. And we also get the worst bounty hunter in the entire world. Cactus. Yes. I mean, just looking at the guy, completely worthless. Like, he might be more worthless than or useless than what's his name? He's the Ryloth senator.
Orn Freetah.
Yes,
Orn Freetah and this guy are the two useless people in the entire show, because you cannot change. Number one is for sure Orn Freetah, because all he does is go and then he eats. Like, he does nothing else. It's like, dude, come on now. You're taking the number 1 spot for useless. Come on.
never canceled for fat phobia.
Ah,
No.
I don't have a fat phobia. It's just that he's
I'm
useless.
teasing.
He's useless. Because literally all he does is like scream. He doesn't have a gun.
That's correct. He does. He does nothing.
We love Porkins here though. Porkins is
Yeah,
a real
Porkins-
OG. So there we
Porkins
go.
is a real OG.
It's
Without
true,
Porkins,
We
there
love-
is no way.
Porkins, Snap Wexley. We love our plus size Star Wars characters, except
Oh,
for you
don't
on
remind-
free top.
oh,
yeah.
Don't make me sad.
No,
Oh.
on free ta, I tell you what. But back to Castus. Castus is like adamant, like they're gonna die, like they're dead. There's no way they could do it. And Boba's like, all right, so we need bodies anyways. We can take them to Dooku and get more credits. And like Aura Singh's just like, she hears credits and she's like, I side with the kid. And this should have been Boba's first sign that she had no interest. Like she had no interest for him at all.
I
Like,
know
that's the
she's
first
not
one.
buying into his cause at all.
No, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Brendan, I know you've got to leave because you've got Book of Boba to record.
I'll be sitting with Ben Livid Cosplay, PMP Den of Antiquities, and that one nerdy fangirl.
Awesome.
Have fun.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Your thoughts on the entire arc, rankings. Here, I'll pull them up for you.
Ooh.
Rankings, Youngling, Padawan, Jedi Knight, Jedi Master, or Grand Master.
You know what? I'm gonna give this Jedi Master ranking, man.
Okay.
It's a great episode arc. It really helps flush out Boba's character as a whole. Bosk is in this, so
We love a good Bosk.
if anyone knows anything about me, I'm a big Bosk stan as well. I had what's known as a Nile monitor, and I named it Bosk. Nile
Ooh.
monitors are these like big ass lizards, you know, like
Mm.
mean as can be, but they're fun because I'm a reptile guy. But yeah,
Okay.
so it's great. I love this episode. I love all these episodes. I mean, even Ahsoka and Plo Koon show up. It checks all my boxes essentially.
Gotcha.
If,
Yeah.
if somehow Caleb Doom showed up, it would get a chef's kiss.
Gotcha.
Caleb
Gotcha.
Doom was not a character yet.
No. But where can the good people follow you on social media?
You guys can find the podcast on Instagram at Cloud City Pod, Twitter at Cloud City Cons. Yeah, and you guys can listen to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys find your podcasts. It's Cloud City Conversations.
I haven't listened to it
Look
yet,
for
but
this.
Oh, nice.
I haven't listened yet, but I'm noticing your art pop up, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool art.
So it's working. It's working. The art's working. That's nice to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so me and Char will be on it
Yeah.
at the beginning of or later
Sometime in January.
So we'll have to check that out. Go check out him. He's got great stuff, great content. Thanks again for coming on, man.
Last episode was a YouTuber named Woof Woof Wolf. So
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
go check out that newest episode. Tomorrow, Book of Boba Fett episode 1 is going to be out. We're going to be covering Book of Boba Fett every week. But the main thing of my podcast, we just interview Star Wars people, Star Wars influencers, you know, everyone, podcasters. We have fun. We just talk about Star Wars. We get to know who they are as a Star Wars fan. It's fun. All love, no hating on anyone's opinions. It's all good fun. So go ahead and check out the podcast.
Yep.
Sounds great.
Have a
Well,
good
thanks for
one.
having me on.
Yeah, not a problem. Thanks for being on. Have a good one.
Of course. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
And then there were 3.
I was just about to say, you stole it. You swiped the joke.
Sorry.
God,
Sorry.
Forced
Um,
help me.
Yeah.
Griff, Luke,
I,
Griff.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But like I was saying, Castus is like he's so useless.
It's okay because he's not going to be around for much longer.
Yeah, I know.
Spoiler alert.
And that was the best part.
What
I
is
don't
that?
like
What-
I don't like
what's-
seeing
what's-
people die, but that was
what's
satisfying.
what's Castus's race? Klaatuan, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. He just looks like a dog face.
With
I mean,
weird, with bad teeth.
Yeah, I mean, he looks like he straight up looks like a bulldog with like a hunchback body.
Yep.
That's how we could describe him. But like Boba says, hey, we can take their heads to Count Dooku, and
Hmm.
and Aura Singh's like, oh, okay, that's a good idea. I
Yeah.
like money, and like I was saying, that should have been Boba's first red flag, but he's been so used to like being Aura's like Aura being there for him,
Yeah.
in quotation. But so she's like, well, if we've killed Skywalker too, he'll bring another he'll give us more money for that.
Mm.
And then they leave Bosk, who is probably the most competent behind Aura behind. Why do you leave him behind? He is the hunter.
Well, they leave Bosk with the prisoners, like the high value targets. I kind of get that.
I just don't. I understand it, but like you would think, hey, let's use the hunter, the Trandoshan, to make sure things are like he can climb, he can do other things, he doesn't complain. Just leave Castus with them. But then again, he's kind of incompetent, so I get it. I get it. I don't hate all Star Wars characters, but him and on Freetar, don't get me going because it'll never stop. So R2 realizes that the Jedi are in danger. Oh, also, we now know that there's hostages. Admiral Killian is alive, Pons is alive, and one other soldier is also alive as well. Forgot to mention that. But R2 realizes that the Jedi may be in danger. He heads to the bridge, finds Mace and Anakin unconscious. And they're both trapped under the rubble because Mace decided to not warn Anakin. Hot take, maybe. Maybe not.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a theme in their relationship.
Yeah. Not being able to trust each other is a hard thing. So R2 being useful, Mace Windu, he tries to move the rubble and it doesn't work. Anakin warns him that he shouldn't be doing that and instead instructs him to get to the starfighters and to get a message back to the Jedi Council. R2 goes down, leaves the bridge, and sees that the bounty hunters are coming. And again, R2 is the best droid. You cannot change my mind. He literally throws a bomb at one point down the shaft. And I'm like, Mace Windu, Trek #1 knows how to throw explosives. My guy can do a lot. And like Castus at this point, like there's a door that gets thrown down by R2. Like it's almost comical how these bounty hunters just don't get up there. Malik, you're muted.
I think one of my favorite things I've ever seen about I think one of my favorite things I've ever seen posted about Star Wars is, man, Star Wars would be much shorter if the bad guys didn't have sockets that were R2-D2 accessible.
This is true. Very true. So he ends up they push on through. He drops so he doesn't drop a bomb, he drops a grenade, and like the bounty hunters finally just like, nope, we're done. We're getting out of here. There's no way somebody's and like Aura's like, we're gonna make sure we're gonna bring the fire spray or Slave 1 at one point, but we're going to
and like bombard it.
We're going to call it the fire spray because that's what it's called. And to destroy to make sure that the Jedi are really dead. R2 then proceeds to get to the starfighter, and everything's gonna be okay. They're gonna get rescued. Nope. Here comes a Gundark. Of course. Rancor. Gundark. And he fights it off. He does use the oil, which was interesting because I thought it would have slipped, but he uses that as a distraction to then get close to the starfighter and shoot a socket at the plunger, like what's it called? I'm looking for the word. I'm struggling. Again, words are hard.
A suction device or something.
Yeah, suction device. And he gets the Gundark, and he presses the button on Anakin's starfighter, and he runs it into the ship, and an explosion happens. I was like, you know what? That's a great way to take care of a Gondark.
Truly.
Obi-Wan, take notes. This is how it's done.
He won't.
No. No.
Obi-Wan doesn't take notes.
So
Just winks it.
so uncivilized. That's probably what he would have said to R2. But then again, he did keep them safe from the Gundark. R2 ends up getting into Mace's starfighter because Anakin's is destroyed. The fire spray ends up catching up with R2. They tried to shoot it down. R2 at one point, so they discovered that the Jedi starfighter explosion was close to where they landed.
Yep.
And we end up there we go.
Sorry about
No,
that.
you're good.
The laptop just crashed. I was like, wait a minute.
No, you're good.
Yeah,
You're
like
good.
screen just went black. I was like, whoa, I was falling to the world between worlds here.
Yeah, you've been lost. Never mind, we found you. So R2, like, they discovered that there was an explosion right next to it. So Boba's like, Mace, and they get to the down ship, and R2's already trying to get away, and they've jammed the sensors, so now R2 literally has to get off planet.
Mhm.
And with all that happening, everybody thinks that Mace is in the starfighter.
Yeah.
And it's so hilarious that R2 is just like, wow, just flying around, just trying to dodge everything. And like I keep saying this episode cements that R2 is the greatest droid. There's no ifs about it. Thoughts on R2 getting away from the bounty hunters?
He's just so clever.
He really is. He's the best.
Yeah, it's like what more can you really what more do you really have to say about R2? He's just so good.
No, yeah. And Windu, again, as the rubble is getting closer and doing things, he tries to use the Force on the rubble, and it keeps coming down. Anakin's like, I've already tried that. Let's not do that. And Mace is like, your astromech better come through. And then at one point they actually see R2 flying with the fire spray behind him, and he's like, I thought you told him to call. And Anakin's like, I don't know what he's doing. He's doing what I'm telling him to do.
Yeah.
And they get into space. He ends up, so the two hyperspace rings are there, and they have to choose which one he's going to go to.
Yep.
He ends up going to the other one that doesn't get shot down. He escapes. Boba's enraged because he thought he had Windu and he didn't. And it causes them to retreat. They leave. They don't even come back, which is kind of funny, but makes a lot of sense. R2 makes it to Coruscant, comes down, and this is the best scene of the whole episode. R2 comes flying through, just down the steps. All the Jedi are going through their plans. They look up, they see R2 tumbling down the stairs, gets up, gets into a fight with the other astromech, and Ahsoka's like, R2, what are you doing? And I can just imagine R2 being Ryan Reynolds. Like Chaco made Chopper Samuel L. Jackson and R2 Ryan Reynolds, and in Ryan Reynolds' voice. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! What are you doing? Get out of here! I need to talk to somebody. I need to talk to somebody now.
I would. What I wouldn't give to just hear him speak basic for this one scene.
You don't understand, mother.
Profanity after profanity after profanity.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help. Get me to the port. God. And then Ahsoka's just like, calm down. What's going on? And Plo Koon's like, whose droid is this? and then Ahsoka's like, it's Master Skywalker's. And you kind of see Plo Koon go, makes sense.
Yeah, I'd be like, checks out.
yeah. Plo Koon's just like,
surprise.
Yep, that makes sense. R2 ends up playing the message, and they instantly get to Plo Koon's like, forget what we were talking about. We got to go save him. And R2 saves the day, and I will not hear anything else of it, because if without R2, they all die.
Oh yeah.
They make it to Rancor. The ship is really in bad. The bridge itself is in bad.
I think it's actually
shape.
Vancouver.
Vancor. Yeah, Vancor. I keep calling it a rain. Oh man, I've been calling it Vancor.
It's fine.
My Star Wars belt is just gonna be taken away from me because I called it.
Last night, Chase would not stop calling Jennifer Beals Jessica Biel, and I wanted to reach through my screen.
Like from Blade?
That's awesome. But Plo Koon and Ahsoka end up, and some troopers end up using. Oh, Commander Wolf is there as well.
Yep.
He actually goes across. They get cables. They go across. They get Anakin and Mace out, and they get to the ground. They get Mace and Anakin, and Mace finally goes. R2 comes to him. And he said, "You done good, kid." Yeah. And you know what, Mace?
And R2's like, finally I could die happy because I have the approval of Mace Windu.
No, he's like, all right. in Ryan Reynolds' voice. Okay, now fuck you.
Yeah.
Just walks off. Just speeds off. And Anakin and him have another nice little moment. Like, good job, bud. Yeah. And that warms my heart so much. Like, this episode really makes the arc for me just because R2 is my favorite droid. But like getting the Boba Fett stuff and saying he didn't struggle with this one because he knew it was Mace. So there wasn't really any like issues that he had to deal with. They still have the hostages. That's the one thing. They still have the hostages. But that's it for that episode. Now we go to episode 22. Malik, you want to do the plot summary on this one?
Sure. Just let me get this bad boy up. That is the episode beforehand. R2 come home. No, we just did that one.
We did Lethal Trackdown.
Yeah, I gotta skip through it all because it's like, oh, it's all on the line. There we go. Oh man, I love an episode Hondo shows up.
It's short.
Lethal Trackdown. The young Boba Fett has taken the law. There's a space where I got messed up by that. Has taken the law into his own hands and made 2 attempts on the life of Mace Windu, the Jedi Master who killed his father. Boba's mentor, bounty hunter Aura Singh, has been taken 3 Republic officers. I'm messing this up. Hostage in effort to force Windu to face Boba on their terms. A tactic that does not sit well with the young vigilante. Yep. ... ellipses.
So we start off with Anakin and Mace Windu in the temple. They're kind of like in not like a spa, but they're in like the recovery room.
It's called a medical room. Where'd you get a spa from?
I don't know. I'm rolling with the punches at this point. So Anakin has this conversation about who the kid is. He wants to know who the kid is. And Mace tells him his name is Boba Fett. And Anakin goes, like Jango Fett. And he's like, yeah, he's an unaltered clone. That's his son.
Yeah.
And we get to see like Anakin just like, why don't you take this kid out? Like, he's like, why don't you take care of this? Why don't you do this? It's
not that hard. I'll show you.
Yeah.
I'll give you some pointers.
Give me 2 years and I'll be able to show you that I'm a real.
He's already done it. Tusken Raider camp.
Oh yeah, that's right. Wow. Never mind. I will bring this up later.
It's a monster.
Well, yeah. There's no justification in any of this, okay? But anyway, he asks why Windu doesn't want to bring him to justice because he goes, if you haven't noticed, we're in the middle of a war. Yeah. And that all changes when Plo Koon and Ahsoka show up with the hologram of Aura Singh. Yep. And Boba has the gun to the head, has the blaster to the head. Aura tells him to do it. And that's the next moment of that immaturity again, like Em was saying. And he doesn't kill the officer, Aura.
Yep.
And that changes Mace's mentality and his focus to, we got to save those hostages. Like, he's now an issue. He wasn't an issue before, but he is now.
I'd say it's kind of an issue because he like blew up a Venator.
Well, but like Anakin was saying, why don't you take care of this? Like, we need to take care of this. But Mace is like, that's not the priority. We're fighting a war. And now that it's become a priority, Mace is now into it. What were your guys' thoughts on the whole switch during that conversation between Anakin and Mace Windu?
I can't be eloquent right now. Give me a minute.
Man, you've been eloquent the
I know.
entire
I'm
time.
running low.
expecting
I'm
so
running-
much of us,
I'm running
Luke.
low.
Stop.
I'm running low.
You've been absolutely blowing my mind. So that's just
That's
it's
so sweet.
great.
Oh no, you know what? Okay, so let's
go.
put it this
The
way.
fire.
Yeah. So like, yeah, I mean, this just shows sort of the different mentality between Anakin and Mace that has sort of followed through this whole arc. Whereas, like, Anakin understands individuals. Like, he understands it's like Boba has a unique, because right away, as soon as he finds out that Boba is Jango Fett's son, he understands that Boba is unique among clones and has this unique place. Whereas all Mace Windu can see is the big picture, right? It's like the theater of war, so it's the idea of having, like the whole like fox hedgehog thinking kind
Gotcha.
of thing, and so it's like Anakin can understand like this is like this one individual has an important role, or like is central to like the Clone Wars, just like as an individual because of his relationships, like with the other clones, as one of the cadets, because he had relationships with the other cadets, right? And so him going rogue, it has implications for the group.
Yeah.
And so he can see how like one individual is like a domino that can like have an effect on everything else. And if you can just address the one thing, you can solve a whole bunch of problems. Whereas Mace's thinking is so like big picture that he's just like, okay, well, we just need to stay focused. We need to stay focused on the big goal.
Yeah.
Rather than like drilling down into a detail that, like, even though Anakin can make a case for that detail being important, like to Mace, no detail is important.
Yeah. Malik.
For me, I always saw it as Anakin knows where Boba's at and knows what Boba is going through, because again, he's the only other person I feel like right now who can sympathize with. Where like, just like Boba held his dead father's head in his hands, Anakin held his dead mother, and Anakin got the ones who killed his mother. So
that's who, yeah, he understands that emotion from the inside.
Yeah, so I feel like that's kind of like a mutual thing. He gets that, like, okay, like Boba is driven by the death of someone he loved. You need to take care of this, because I can't tell you, but it's very dangerous. I can't tell you how I know this, but
okay, so Malik, you good, interesting thing you say that, but doesn't the Jedi Council know that he murdered the Tuskens?
he only tells Palpatine, I believe.
Padme.
Only Yoda only.
Padme knows.
Padme, yes, Padme also.
Because she instantly forgives him. And is like, don't worry about the genocide, dear.
Yeah. See, all Yoda knew.
Good thing Boriaka Wookiee's not in here. Camilla. Oh, she. If you don't have TikTok, go follow her. Make one and go follow Camilla. Camilla is great. If you want to learn more things about Padme, holy shit!
I know, I love her. Honestly, I know I was saying that with love. Trust me.
Yeah.
It's polite ball busting for Padme. But yeah, going back to, I think like I know he told Palpatine, but like I think like also he who was it? All Yoda sensed was that he was in pain. Terrible pain, and that's all he knew. Like, again, like I know Obi-Wan didn't know in Legends. Like I remember
Yoda's connection with Anakin is never like it never does this. It's always like
all right, we're not gonna hit here. Someday we're gonna connect, but it's not now.
Exactly.
It's good. And like it's so like, yeah, like again, there's only really two people who know what Anakin did on Tatooine, and to me, he just kind of like he just gets it, like, so like again, he understands like Boba's driven by something that is gonna push him, make him see this through to the end, no matter what the end result is, which is she's trying to make sure it's the one where Mace doesn't die.
Yep. Plo Koon and Ahsoka. Well, Plo Koon goes, "You're not doing anything." Like,
The
you keep-
best clone battalion, 104th Wolf, and the Wolf Pack. Love those guys. Plo's bros.
Plo's bros. Yes, Plo's bros. He goes, me and little Ahsoka. I love that. I love that relationship. That relationship is so amazing and interesting. Do they ever? It's been a long time since I've listened or read the Ahsoka novel. Does she bring up Plo Koon in that book? I can't remember.
I have not read it yet.
Oh,
Yeah, I am also someone who's like a couple of years out from having read it, and I don't remember.
I think she does, but I know she talks about Obi-Wan and Anakin's bickering in the Bounty Hunters arc. I know she talks about that because that was one of the 3 interesting facts that Char had. That Malik knew. That Malik knew right off the top. But like that relationship, I would think she would try to remember that because he was the one that found her.
Yes.
And brought her to the temple. So like that extra
She was 3. So I mean you would presume that from when she was 3 until when she was 13?
Yes.
Her primary caregiver. Like that was her primary relationship.
No, yeah.
Jedi,
absolutely.
until she met Anakin when she was like 13, 14.
No, yeah, absolutely. But like Plo Koon's like, yeah, me and little Ahsoka will take care of it. And I was like, oh, my heart is so full right now. So back on the fire spray, Aura scolds Boba and says, if you ever do that, don't listen to an order again. You're gonna regret it.
Yikes.
And I'm like, Aura, God, you are, I would not want to work for you. Not even close. I would rather work for Hondo than work for you because at least I get a lot of laughs. You are just full of misery and hatred.
Yes,
as Hondo leaves you for dead.
You know what? At least I would be laughing. All right. The guy told a ton of jokes. We drink a lot of booze. Like the guy knows how to party. I'm here for it. So she instructs them that they're gonna go to Florum. Castus is like, I'm out. She's like, okay, good, because we didn't need you anyways. You're worthless anyways.
Yeah.
And she goes, we're going to Florum to see if I can get one more person. And obviously, when we hear Florum, they land. Hondo Naka. Thoughts on Hondo and Aura Singh's relationship?
My man. I was like Hondo. I was like my man.
Well, Hondo's one of those people who knows how to get along with people who are difficult. Like he can get along with everybody, and everybody. So that means that the threshold is like really, really, like it's a really, really high bar. For, like if he can put like normal good people at ease and get them to be relaxed enough that he can swindle them. You know,
or even
his
Dooku.
skills are, yeah.
He worked really well with Aura, as we saw.
Yeah, apparently.
But he has a line too. It's like, I enjoyed working from under you. I'm like, Hondo.
He gets around, all right. That's how he tames the beast.
The weak ways. The weak ways.
Yep.
So Aura introduced Boba, and instantly Hondo, being good old Hondo, knows I worked with Django. Obviously, that doesn't surprise me because he works with everybody. And he's like, I knew your father, like, and he builds kind of that relationship that we see later on that really helps bring out the situations in Boba. So they go into the bar. Castus has a hologram, and he's talking to someone back on Coruscant. And Aura puts in her. By the way, that's an antenna, right, in her head?
Yes,
it is.
Okay, so the antenna, she puts the ear trip in. Here's the conversation. Hondo's trying to talk to her, and he's like, "Oh yeah, remember that job?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, excuse me. Hey, Castus, bang." I was like, boss, yes, that is awesome. But like, he deserved it. You were the worst. Gotcha. And she's like, okay, and what were we talking about? Like and Honda's like, get this trash out of here. Like, he's just like, get him off the floor, get him out of here. And I was like, yep, that's Hondo, straight up Hondo. Then we get the shot of Ahsoka and Plo Koon going down to the underworld, which whenever we see the underworld, I'm all for it because it's like 1313 should have been a thing. Should have been released. Such a good concept.
We were gonna get that Star Wars like HBO adult series too. That was gonna be on Set of the Underworld. That would have been interesting.
Did you guys ever hear what my idea was for a Star Wars video game when we did
please share.
episode?
Please share.
So my idea for a Star Wars video game is actually that you start in the underworld, like you're born like a street rat, and like you are nothing and nobody, you have no name, and you have to go through this series of challenges where you start building power. You start, you engage in fights and you gain people's loyalty and you pick people's pockets, and slowly you amass more and more power in the underworld until finally you're able to get off planet. And as you travel through the galaxy, with your newfound pirate wealth and influence, you start attracting these like powerful beings, and as you fight them, as you defeat them, you absorb their powers. So you become like, you get to have all of these different types of force powers, and you become more and more powerful. And at the very end of the game, it's revealed to you that you're Ren.
Oh, that would be sick.
Whoa. Okay, so this is happening during the
that could be prequel era, because Ren is an adult in the OG trilogy era. Like that would be sick. I have a theory that
look on your face.
I have a theory that we might see Ren sooner or later in something that just premiered, but we'll get to that.
That would be cool. I don't care.
And then you could have a DLC that's just going. You could have a DLC where you're just going to different places around the galaxy collecting the knights and recruiting the knights.
See, I have been pitching a Kylo Ren game where you just take the concept of Force Unleashed but do it better and have Kylo fight Ahsoka, Ezra, and Cal.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, but like, oh my god, that's a really cool idea. First, I'm like, oh, it's GTA Star Wars. Oh no, you're Ren. That would be really dope.
That would be.
You get Christian Slayer to voice him again too.
Yes, I would love that.
Yeah. Oh my god, we need more Ren content. Well, we're getting more Ren content because of Crimson Dawn.
My head has just now exploded. For those that are listening, my mind has just been blown. Why? That's amazing.
Tweet it at Charles Soule. Maybe he'll.
Yes.
He'll get them to like.
Charles, get going on this shit.
No.
Charles,
what she's talking about.
You leave Charles alone. He's working on my Marchion Row book right now.
Oh, that's true. Oh, it's pronounced Marchion, by the way. He said himself.
I was a big Marchion guy, but now I do the tomato thing where I'll just say both here and there, because I think they work in a Tempest runner that like they say Marchion to mock him.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, because he's like, call me Marchion one more time, and I will feed you your tusks.
See, his Marchion is like on point.
Love it. It's so good. Anyway, sorry, we were talking about.
Yeah, we'll get to High Republic.
Yeah, I will
failing.
Yeah,
we were talking about them trying to do subterfuge in the underworld and Ahsoka blowing everyone's cover.
Yeah. So Plo Koon and her have like just like the relationship again. You have to learn to be subtle. You've learned too much from Anakin. He's not subtle, and she's like,
he's not.
But I'm trying.
He's like a human backflip.
No, yeah, he is the human backflip. You're absolutely right. And you cannot tell me. You cannot tell me that Vader and Anakin are not one person. From Rebels, Twilight of the Princess, when he shows up on top of the TIE fighter.
Oh my
god.
That is Anakin Skywalker.
Queen. Drama queen.
Yes.
Theatrical AF. Yes.
Love to see it.
Oh, the human backflip. I love that. Can we put that on like a t-shirt?
Yes, put anything you want on a t-shirt.
Just be like Anakin Skywalker, the human backflip.
Truly.
Oh, I
So,
will come up with something.
I wasn't able to watch the full episode, but how does she get the info again?
So she ends up using the Force. She calms herself down. She tries to blend in, and she hears the conversations. She goes, walks around the room, puts her shoulder and listens to the folks that are talking about death. She hears it through the Force first. She hears death or in Florum. So she goes over kind of nonchalantly, really badly, nonchalantly, just sits there and tries to listen. And the two that are talking end up they catch on and they end up pulling blasters at her. And then here comes good old Plo Koon, draws his lightsaber, and I thought to myself, Jedi business, go back to your dreams.
Yeah, go back
instantly. I love that. That's one of my favorite lines in Attack of the Clones. So everybody starts pulling their blasters because two Jedi lightsabers, we got them outmanned. And then Ahsoka's like, here, Republic credits on the ground, it's on the house, and they all go scattering. Like, oh hey, two Jedi were here with their lightsabers drawn. Oh, there's
so
money.
good.
There's money. Let's go get it. Come on. Thoughts on that whole thing of her using the Force and trying to blend in, but not really blend in?
I'd say it's a great learning moment for Ahsoka, where it's like, yeah, okay, maybe you should learn from other sources besides Anakin, because as we've seen Ahsoka, you need to learn that Anakin, I don't even he's a teacher, but he doesn't even have it all together.
No, not at all.
So yeah, it was good to see her. I love the usage of the Forces like that. Not big show, but using it intuition, knowledge, defense, stuff like that. I thought that was really cool, and I love. Also, I'm a big fan of throw money, cause a scene, and what better place than a seedy cantina. Credits.
Yep.
Yeah.
Republic credits did do fine here.
Your thoughts?
Yeah, no, I love how Ahsoka that whole thing is, how much it reveals about her character.
Yeah.
About the fact that that Malik said, it's very subtle, and she can be like that, the way that she uses the Force. But then she takes a page from Anakin's book and does a big flashy thing in order to make a clean getaway, right?
Yep.
Yeah, it's her versatility, and
Yeah.
and that's probably one of the reasons why she's still alive when we see her in Rebels, right? She's a survivor.
Yep, dang straight. And Plo Koon goes, you couldn't have been more subtle. And she's like, what? I tried.
Yeah, I know. She's just like Anakin Jr., legit.
It's like, I tried. What do you want me to do?
Yeah. It's like, whose Padawan am I again?
This is hard for me, okay?
What
God.
do you expect?
What, Dad? I can't just love you? No. So then we go back to Florum. Aura tries to get Hondo to join, and he's like, no, thank you. I know you're crazy in more than one way.
Yeah, for sure.
So, and he declines, and Aura's like, okay, whatever. And so back to I missed something here. So Plo Koon and Ahsoka find out they're on Florum. They go to Florum.
Yeah.
Aura and Hondo are warned that Boss warned that there's a Jedi starfighter coming in.
Yeah.
And Aura and Boba get prepared, and Hondo greets them, I believe, if I remember correctly.
He's like, hey, don't arrest me though.
Yeah.
I remember, I'm helping you. Remember, I did nothing.
Yeah, I did nothing wrong here.
Yeah.
So the Jedi, so Ahsoka and Plo Koon show up. Plo Koon goes and sits in front.
Can I also just say,
Yes,
I
go,
think
please.
I love the connection of that because like the 104th Plo's Battalion, their main thing is crisis relief. They come in and they save people, and I like that there's that parallel, that connection, that Plo Koon wants to go in because he actually wants to try to save Boba from himself. I love that little tidbit, you know. Like again, there's and that's why we see the 104 when they save the Torgrudas later on, the Slate and the Nigerian arc. Again, like that's why I love the fact that Plo Koon is just like, no, I'm gonna try to save this kid from himself. He's making a dumb mistake.
Oh my gosh,
he
is so paternal.
Yeah,
like
it's so
like
good.
an extension of his paternal nature.
Papa
right?
Plo. Papa
Yeah,
Plo.
he wants to be everyone's papa, like even Boba Fett.
Then again, he was almost back, but he didn't Mando. But you know, it's what we got. You know, I'm still happy we got Luke, but oh, what could have been?
Yeah. So they come in and
they have like a sit down, don't they?
Yeah, they have a sit down, and he's like, "This could go one of two ways." And Aura's like, "Oh, I don't think it's gonna work out." And Boba comes up behind Plo Koon, and Plo Koon works his magic. He says, "I can't remember exactly what he says, but he's like, this isn't like really think about what you're about to do, Boba." And obviously, he's not able to do Boba. He struggles with that immaturity, just like you really knocked it out of the park with that, because that's really true. He struggles, and Aura ends up distract. Well, actually, so Ahsoka comes up from behind, and captures Aura for a little bit, and Aura pushes is it a bomb or is it a like a, I can't remember, because Boba throws a bomb from what I remember. Hold on, let's just look at the Wikipedia real quick, because I could have looked at it earlier. So Florum, Aura tries to extract ransom. Okay, yes, so she tries to extract the ransom from the Jedi, and she says she's holding two hostages in two different locations. They will be executed by Bosk if they haven't heard anything. And Bosk actually says that to the hostages when they're there. So both sides spring their traps. Boba holding a blaster to Koon's head. And Ahsoka destroys Aura's comlink and holds a lightsaber to her throat. The bounty hunters, all they say is the bounty hunters managed to escape, to make a diversion and escape. But as Aura is escaping, Plo Koon uses the Force and pulls Boba in, and Boba says, "Aura, Aura, Aura," and that's when it flips. That's when it's okay. She's not really here for me. She's not. She's out for her own skin, just like the typical bounty hunter. Most typical bounty hunters, I should say.
See, it would have been cool with this arc, with this moment, if Aura showed up in Book of Boba, but we now know that Tobias Beckett took care of her.
This is very true.
I will say a fall is a very open-ended death
always
in Star Wars, as we see. So you know, like
Yes.
Tobias Beckett killed her, but you know, like as you said, the fall killed her. But again, like, as we see in Star Wars, just because you fall don't mean you're dead.
Yeah.
Four times, you guys. 4 times.
Yeah, 4 times.
That's why I'm convinced. That's why I'm convinced Phasma's still alive.
Don't you dare say Mace Windu.
Oh no.
That motherfucker is dead.
He's the only one that didn't come back.
Yeah.
Because like, like you can't take a full Force lightning blast from Palpatine and like survive a fall. No, he's gone.
There's no way you don't get hit in midair by a speeding past speeder.
Yes.
I feel like
Coruscant, for Christ's sake.
I feel like every time we talk, like we're gonna have a Mace Windu episode. It's gonna turn to Luke like hating Mace Windu.
It's not hate. It's
well,
below hate.
Intense dislike. Intense dislike. You like that one better?
Yes. I'm not a hateful, vengeful person.
Okay. The Jedi way. I dig it.
Some people might disagree with you, but that's their certain point of view.
I gotcha.
Anyway, so Ahsoka goes in pursuit. Aura gets on the speeder. Plo Koon interrogates. Well, doesn't really interrogate. He talks to Boba, And he
Very loudly, Boba, where are they?
yeah. Boba, where are they? They will die if you don't tell me. And Boba comes to his senses and knows that he's not going to get out of this if he doesn't help, and that he's ultimately doing the right thing. And Plo Koon, with his Papa Plo Koon wisdom, gets him to tell him that there's the location. Ahsoka still following Aura, gets the comm link from Plo Koon. Plo Koon says, she's trying to get you to go that way. Go to these coordinates. And Ahsoka is like, okay, goes there. Bosk hasn't heard from Aura, so he's about ready to shoot. In comes Ahsoka, kicks his ass, saves them. Then here comes Aura coming out of nowhere. Blows up the bikes.
Mhm.
She manages to get on the fire spray, take off. Ahsoka jumps on top of the fire spray, cuts one of the wings. We see it do a tail spin or a vertical spin, land and crash. Well, crash land, and we're supposed to take that as she's dead.
Yeah.
Ha! If I don't see a body, she ain't dead.
It's Star
That's the
Wars.
number
Yeah.
one rule. No, that's the number one rule in TV shows. General. If we didn't see a body hit the floor, they ain't dead.
Yeah.
They ain't dead. So the final scene is Boba and Boss being in custody on Coruscant. They take him in.
I love that they become best friends. Like, you mess with Boba, you mess with me.
Yeah.
So Boba apologizes for the destruction that he caused, but insists he will never forgive Mace for killing Jango. And that was a deep, deep, deep cut.
To which Mace says, you're gonna have to. Bye. Enjoy prison, kid.
Yeah, not even no remorse. That's on you, bro. Like, what the fuck, man? I get it, it's Boba, but come on. You're supposed to be a Jedi. You're supposed to be selfless. You're supposed to care.
That was strange to me that like Boba is clearly like a disturbed, just like, you know, like
Yes.
he's going through a lot. Like, all right, prison with the adults. So, like,
That's right.
Dude, skip juvie. You go straight with the adults.
straight to big boy jail. I'm like, the kid needs counseling, guys.
Yeah, just like all the Jedi that weren't in the High Republic could have kept the Jedi counselors. Thank you. Anyway, that's it for the episode. That's it for the arc. Guys, what episode rankings? I'm going to start with you. So we've got Youngling, Bad. I know we're not going to put it in Youngling to Jedi Knight.
No.
It's
Yeah,
going to be
no,
it's going to be Jedi Master to Grandmaster.
Yeah, I'm giving it a Jedi Master. It like we've said, you know, it's a great sort of emotional exploration of where Boba is, where he comes from, his motivations, you know, and it does the great character work with Anakin and R2. Yeah, I mean, I think that the final episode it's a bit more actiony and it doesn't sort of delve into those emotional issues as much. If they had done more character work, I would have given it a Grandmaster. But as it is, it gets a Jedi Master.
There's not going to be a ton of arcs that get a Grandmaster.
I
but
know.
there are what? Bara.
Sorry.
Hold on. Siege of Mandalore. But I'm playing my cards way too quick down the line. We've still got a ton of episodes to get through. Malik.
Oh man, I'm actually not too sure about that because like part of me wants to give it a Grandmaster because it is just like I just enjoy it so much. But again, I'm also a big like character work guy. I love character-driven stories, and like that last one does get very like okay, it's the big action set piece. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go with Jedi Master. It's so good. It's so cool to see young Boba and to expand upon his character, much like the Clone Wars did for Maul. It expands upon like who Boba is. We get the more of a idea of who Boba is, and it adds better context and enhances watching the OG trilogy and now Book of Boba Fett. Now that we know what Boba's been through and like where he where he'll end up. And again, like it's cool watching him like get his foothold with all the bounty hunters and everyone. It's great seeing Bosk because Bosk is just great.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a really strong arc. This is where Clone Wars really is. This is like Clone Wars was like Rocky. It was an ass show season 1, but season 2 is like, okay, this is when the show is like, all right, we're cooking with gas now. We're doing something special now.
Yeah. I'm giving it a Jedi Master for all the reasons that everybody stated. It shows Boba at a vulnerable point that we don't really get to see in the OT. We don't get to really dive into his character until now. But I'd have to say it's a Jedi Master.
Nice.
And now time for the 3 interesting facts. Did
Oh,
you get them?
boy, yeah, I got them. I guess I have to read those.
Yeah, you're the co-host.
All right.
I did it 2 weeks ago.
I'm the proper Char
You-
variant now.
Yeah,
All right, here we go.
You are the proper Char variant.
Here we go. Let's see if I can emulate Char. 3 interesting facts about certain Clone Wars arc you did. No, I'm just gonna talk about me. You didn't know until now. Part 7, the Boba Fett arc. Fact 1: a reference to Legends in the R2-D2 Come Home episode. There was a briefing at the Jedi Temple that involves Jedi Master Plo Koon. He mentions the Hydian Way, which is a hyperspace trade route from Legends. Fact 2: fun on the LAAT, also in the R2 Come Home episode. We see Plo Koon and the wolf pack accompany him. The nose art from the LAAT and says Plo's Bros. I said that one. Fact 3: a mirror to Darth Vader. In the Lethal Trackdown episode, we see Anakin Skywalker pose and stare out of the window. This is exactly like the one Anakin does in Revenge of the Sith and what Darth Vader does in Empire Strikes Back when he communicates with Luke at the end of the movie. Huh. That was no. Cool.
And those are 3 interesting facts about a Clone Wars arc. A little background. So Char has a running, like his niche on TikTok is 3 interesting facts about a certain Star Wars character that you didn't know until now.
Right.
And so now him being my co-host, we started this a couple of weeks ago with the arc, and he finds different little facts and he puts them in. And
love
he
it.
finds things and whatnot.
Very cool.
Star Wars news, guys. What were your thoughts on Book of Boba?
You go first.
I want to hear, since we've talked so much Boba, I want your thoughts on what we got. Like, what were your overall thoughts? Were you happy with it? Were you satisfied? What were your feelings?
I feel like it's obviously building towards something.
Okay.
I mean, it's very significant. I mean, well, for one thing, I mean, it was obvious that there was a lot of utilitarian things happening in this episode. Like, we had to go to the sanctuary, meet the people there, and that's obviously going to return later. We had, we sort of had to see the relationship dynamics between Fennec and Boba, and and they obviously were using other things. Like it felt sort of like a chore, like kind of like a chore to watch. I think a lot of people are reacting negatively to it because they have to set a lot up with this episode, like, and just with the first handful of episodes, just because this is a new story. But the problem is it's like when we were doing Mandalorian, it was a lot easier to just jump into the story because they knew that people wouldn't necessarily have preconceived notions. Like, we hadn't met Din Djarin before.
Yeah.
There wasn't all this cultural baggage on this character. They just kind of had this sandbox and they could play in it. And so the first episode felt really fresh. And it also felt like, okay, you're just jumping on the toboggan and like wherever it goes is where it goes. But the Book of Boba Fett has all of this weighty expectation on it. And especially with, I feel like with the marketing that they did prior to the show, they kind of have made a choice to play with the fact that there's expectation and engage with it, rather than just being like, oh, we're just going to tell the story that we want to tell and like screw the audience, which is a choice that some writers make and some creative teams make. I feel like they're counting on, like, part of the fun of this show is like, you already know this guy and you already have expectations and you already think he's a badass. So it's like, oh, okay, so I guess we have to show him being a badass. It's like,
Gotcha.
and then it feels, but then, and for some people, it's going to be like, oh, this is great. This is exactly what I came for. Like I wanted to make myself a bowl of oatmeal and they're giving me a bowl of oatmeal. This is great.
Yeah.
And other people are going to be like, this is fucking boring. Like, because it's like, and those are people where when they engage with stories, they want novelty, they want the unexpected. They're not always going to stories for things that they find like comforting, reassuring, and that reinforce what they already think or what they already believe. So
Gotcha.
I feel like you have this creative team that's trying to play with the fact that there's already expectations and there's already familiarity, and for some people it's working and for other people it's not working.
Gotcha.
But I'm not writing anything off yet. Like I always say, like more Star Wars is always good Star Wars to me.
Yes.
Like I always come to every Star Wars property with an attitude of being open to the stories that the writers want to tell me, and I trust them. Like they've always had such great creatives working on these properties, and like I'm open to whatever they want to give me. It's not the most exciting thing in the world to me. Like I wasn't particularly tickled or like surprised by anything, but who knows, when that girl shows up on her hover bike, I'll maybe there'll be fireworks.
She's not a dark Jedi.
That's fine.
I don't need her to be Jedi. I agree.
I don't need
dark Force user. That's what they're called. They're not dark Jedi. They're dark.
Yeah,
Force
exactly.
User. I'm sorry.
Don't get me started.
That was a snappy thing for me to say. Like that was my canonicity just coming out and just being
Don't get me started on the way people conflate Force user with Jedi, because they are not the same thing.
Oh, there goes. There goes my great Jedi theory. Kidding.
Don't even say that.
Stop it, Malik.
Kidding.
There's no such thing as a great Jedi. Sorry.
I know.
Malik,
I know. Oh, I absolutely loved it, because one thing I really wanted from this was that just like I really wanted Boba, like I wanted to go into who Boba is as a man and like what makes him tick. And from the get-go, they do that. Like he has the dream sequence. We see Camino. We see him holding his father's helmet. And, we see the Sarlacc pit. I did not expect them to do the Sarlacc pit. That was horrifying. My God.
It was very gross.
Straight out of a horror movie. I was like,
I loved it. We were trying to eat our dinner while we were watching it, and I was like, this was a poor choice.
I was like, what? And like he can't stand too, because it's like, because it's so like, it just got me. But like, I actually have a crazy theory that one Tusken in the black robes that he fights, I think that's gonna be a Knight of Ren. Because the robes look very similar to one of the Knights of Ren, and the fact that Tusken looks unhappy by the fact that Boba's doing like better in the tribe, like I could see like maybe like that Tusken gets like excommunicated or something, and then like they come and then like Ren shows up and takes him, like that would be sick. But that's
probably be Cardo, because Cardo's the only one that's non-human.
Yeah, that's true. Again, we don't know. So I also have another theory. I think that the girl is gonna turn out to be that little Tusken, that they see, because in Legends they take off like the Tusken's mask, and it's it's human but with like a lot of tattoos. Am I correct?
Well, that's in Kenobi, right? Or there was a Tusken Jedi as well in Legends.
Again, I'm not too sure, but I remember there was some story where like they took it off.
Don't mess with Legends. The only thing that I've ever read is Plagueis, and that's all I probably will touch.
Gotcha. But like, if they are going that route where the Tuskens do just look human with tattoos, I do believe that girl in the black, I think she might be like the young Tusken, because it's enough of a time skip, because it's 4 years after he got out of the Sarlacc pit. Yeah. So if that's my, again, I am completely okay with being wrong. I'm not gonna throw history at my theories wrong. But like that's the fun of making theories. You could be wrong, could be right. It's fun seeing how it turns out. But I'm really enjoying it. Can't wait to see more of it. I like the fact that actually Boba takes L after L in this episode, which I actually quite like.
His ass kicked.
Can't get properly paid. It's like he's like, I'm the crime lord. Why don't they pay me? It's like the fact, and like the shield dudes really take him out. The fact that he gets like he takes a few scrapes and he's like, I need to get to the Bacta. It's like I need it now. It's like
like his drug. It's like his drug.
It's very. I can't wait to see the rest of Book of Boba.
Oh man, yeah, Book of Boba's gonna be good. But I'm gonna be an absolute menace when Kenobi comes out.
That's fine. The only thing that I am not looking forward to about Kenobi is that it will take place on Tatooine.
He's leaving Tatooine.
He better.
No, he's going. No,
I don't
okay,
want
but
him to leave Tatooine.
stop it, Malik. All right, stop it. Okay, so he has to leave Tatooine because it doesn't make sense for canonically that Vader shows up to Tatooine. He doesn't like to go to Tatooine. It brings back memories. He hates sand. That's the most important part. He hates sand.
He does hate
but
sand.
he that's why they hid Luke there. Because they knew Vader would never go there because it brings back memories of his mother, brings back memories of Padme, brings back the failures that he couldn't save her. And the only way Obi-Wan gets off of Tatooine is if he is A, found out by an Inquisitor, or B, the other child is in trouble. And I think because there were rumors that they cast a young Leia. So there is a possibility of him trying to save Leia. That's how you get him off Tatooine. And that's how you get the scene of Vader either taking his mask off or getting the mask taken off of him.
Yeah, you keep bringing this
up. and we get to see Hayden's burning face.
Yeah, but
you see the
honestly,
yellow eyes.
Yeah, what a waste to like actually get Hayden back and just keep him in the suit the whole time.
I think we're probably gonna see him in the Bacta.
That will be the biggest L in my entire life.
Well, again, we know he's returning for Ahsoka, so you definitely will see his face in some form.
This is true.
Yeah.
Looking forward to it.
I
love that man.
A little High Republic before we go.
5 days.
How much is this book gonna hurt?
A lot.
Like it's like the Michael Scott. Oh, this is
gonna hurt like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's like
all those writers give us his pain.
So the book comes out the day before my birthday. So the second episode actually of Book of Boba airs on my birthday. So we will be doing a watch along while it's my birthday. So that watch along is gonna be fun. But like when I get that book on audio, I'm not gonna get the hardcover right away because I pre-ordered it from Amazon, but it doesn't get here till like later in the day. I will be listening to it. I don't care. I will be listening to it, and I will be bawling the entire time.
I'm debating whether or not to could just order on Amazon so it could be delivered to me, or actually go to Barnes & Noble and get my copy, because Barnes & Noble has that poster where like the one side it's Stellan Gios, it's Orla Jareni, it's Belle Zettifer, it's Indira Stokes, and Buryaga. Yeah, standing on. It's the cover of them sitting in like the burning starlight, and the other it's the Who Will Survive, and it's all the High Republic characters, so like Avar, Chris, Lula Talisola, Orla, like Stellan, Buckets of Blood, it's Yoda, it's everyone, and Starlight Beacon's on fire in the middle of them. Like Elzar's on it. I'm like, oh my god.
I swear to God, Claudia Gray, if you kill Buryaga, we're gonna have freaking problems.
Yeah, we'll riot.
Dude, you touch the goddamn only Wookiee that is a Jedi, there will be riots in
this era.
So yes, my worry is that Claudia is going to kill Orla Jareni, because Orla is my favorite Jedi right now, because Claudia made Orla. Orla is Claudia's character. She debuted into the Dark Claudia's book. So I'm really worried that Claudia's like, I brought her into this galaxy. I'm going to take her out now. I'm like, Claudia, please no. I love the way your concept that she's my favorite Jedi in this era. Please don't do it, Claudia.
The real question is, who do we like, if we had to play the Deadpool, who are you taking for sure death in this book?
Skier,
Okay.
from the Trandoshan from the High Republic comic, because we know that they will be on Starlight, because of the comical tie-in. Elzar as well.
I think Elzar and Bell are gone.
No.
It's gonna hurt.
But Avar's going. Malik put this in my head. It's Malik's idea. I think Avar's going to turn.
Elzar dies,
turn
and that
her-
causes
that's
Avar to fall the
turn.
dark side. That was a theory I had, because I don't know if you guys have been reading the
I want to
comics, but
see that.
yeah,
I wanna see that.
Avar has been getting a lot more violent and not violent, but like a lot more like angrier and
Yeah.
more like disagreeing with the council. Like she is not on happy terms with the Jedi Council right now.
And here's the kicker. This is how it all goes down. Elzar dies. She turns. The only person that can put her down or kill her, Stellan. Stellan has to be the one to put her to take her down. And that is what is going to break our hearts. That is going to be Claudia Gray destroying us. That's how it's going to happen. I'm calling it. Stellan, because they're the triangle.
We're causing we're causing actual emotional distress here. I feel like.
Sorry, Em. But like, that's how it's gonna happen. Like Claudia,
I need my emotional support, Falcon.
There you go.
I have my bear. I have my bear here, who I have actually named Burry.
Hold on.
Oh, I love him.
He's too far away. My Cocker Spaniel, I named him Chewy. He has the chandelier and everything.
But like,
Sweet.
yeah, it's like, my God, the High Republic, man. I'm very curious because like, so Fallen Star comes out next week. Then the week after, it's the Marchion Rowe comic, Eye of the Storm, which explains Marchion's origin. So like,
That's right.
again, like that. So like, it's crazy that's like literally like the next week, like we're getting that. It's like, oh crap.
Do we think Marchion Rowe? Well, okay, I think he's force sensitive.
I don't know if he's force sensitive.
I think he is.
Why didn't the leveler? Why didn't the leveler go after him then?
Because he's got a I think he is connected with the Sith somehow, because the Sith are always in the background. They are.
Yes, they are.
They could have, and you know what? It wouldn't surprise me if they set up the Nihil. They're like, hey, we can't destroy these people. Like, let's let these guys deal with it. Just ramp it, and then we can do stuff from the back end.
Well, I mean, if you think about it strategically, I mean, the fact that there are only 2 Sith, so
Yes.
if you want to be able to have a lot of power and influence, you would need to outsource.
Fair enough. Which again, Palpatine does that with 2 armies and causes a war.
And it also helps the Sith take over, because I think they learn from the Nihil, and they'll learn from the other things in the next waves that the Jedi are vulnerable. They aren't all knowing. They can be defeated, and this is just the beginning. The Nihil is just the beginning.
Yep.
We're gonna get way bigger and harder.
We have 2 more. We have 2 more phases. We have a show, a video game. The less said about that, the better. And, yeah,
Hashtag Black Hat Star Wars Eclipse.
Agreed.
It's like
Agreed.
it's like it's again, there's so much coming down the pipeline. Again, we've got 2 phases: Trial of the Jedi, Quest of the Jedi, and again, like we gotta see how it all phases. I like Charles Soule. I'm not Charles Soule. Daniel Jose Older said he accidentally sent the ending to Wave 1 to his realtor agent. He was like, "Hope she's not a Star Wars fan."
That's too funny.
Yeah.
Well, email oopsie. Whoops.
Yeah, it's like, oh, that was not meant for you.
Oh man.
Yeah, it's just like I love the High Republic. Is giving me like so much. Again, I that's why I got the High Republic tattoo on my arm.
That's
it's like
beautiful.
it's given me so much, and like between representation, so
Yes.
many new friends, because like the High Republic is kind of what drove me to seek out other Star Wars fans, because I was kind of on my own. Like, I want to talk to other people about this, and let me, like Chaco and by proxy, like you guys and everything. And it's just like it's such a beautiful era in Star Wars for now. And then like I'm so excited to see like where Wave 1 ends.
I love it, honestly. I mean, everyone like bests on Brian and I because we are like very skeptical of the Jedi. But the thing is, like, we're skeptical of the Jedi in the era in which we originally met them.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like the High Republic, like I've said this so many times, like the High Republic from the very beginning, it shows the potential of the Jedi or what the Jedi could be, you know, if
could
they
have
had
been,
their
yeah.
heads on straight.
There's
You know, like it shows like their heroism and their nobility and the best things that people are capable of when they have access to this, you know, mystical power of the Force. You know,
The
it's like the best of humanity.
the absolute like purest Jedi moment for me in High Republic is Belle's free fall, and he tells
Yes.
the girl she's not alone. That to me is like exactly the definition of what a Jedi is, and I love it so much. It's literally like for all my Spider-Verse fans, it's a "What's Up Danger" moment from like Into the Spider-Verse because like it's so good. But like, oh my god, I'm so scared for Belle because he literally gets traumatized at the end of every book.
Yep.
So I'm like, oh, poor Belle. But like, but I've just it's this era. There's so much love about it again, and like, and all the creators are great, like Claudia Gray, D. Older, Charles Soule, Kevin Scott, Justine Ireland, all just like fantastic and
They're
amazing people.
wonderful.
Yes, and like
Wonderful.
they're so open and so interactive with the fan base. They literally like
Yep.
talk to everyone. They like retweeting like literally everything. It's just like,
Yeah.
it's such a beautiful era for Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Yeah.
And we had the immense pleasure of having Justine Ireland on.
Nice.
It was just
I,
truly a wonderful experience.
I have been telling this guy and several of our friend groups, read Test of Courage. Stop sleeping on the young readers' books.
Yep.
They are
Yep.
really good.
Yeah,
Test
they
of
are.
Courage is Vernestra's debut. Read it.
Venestra is a very interesting character because I did finally listen to it. Really good. Really good because it builds on the connection between her and
Emery.
Emery.
And
Yeah.
And just like for her to be so young and to take on a Padawan at such a young age that had never been done before.
Mhm.
the moment she like cracks his his lightsaber with the whip, I freaked the hell out so hard. I was like, oh my god, because she duels him and like his lightsaber is like active now, he's a little more resolute, and then like she beast him and he crawls into the whip. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah. High
And then, like,
Republic. High Republic is great.
And all that, the connective tissue, because at the end of that book, when they leave, they run into Skier and Keith Trennis, and he's like, yeah, we're on Shiradan, and you can see them on Shiradan in the comic. I'm like, it's all connected.
Yeah. What the High Republic is bringing for others is just the best part. And it's different for me because I guess I don't have the troubles that others do, and it's great. But I'm all for inclusivity. Because Star Wars is for everybody. We should not be gatekeeping just because the skin of our color, who we love, anything like that. Star Wars is about connecting people, not bringing people apart.
Yep.
And I think that's the best way that the High Republic is doing it right now. So, and with that, guys, that's going to be an episode. M, where can the good people follow you and your content, and get her on TikTok now so that we can hear more of her thoughts, please?
I do have TikTok and I have a TikTok account, but it's secret. And I don't use it.
Oh, okay.
I don't use
Well,
TikTok. I'm old, you guys. I'm an old.
So that doesn't mean that you. No, we're gonna. Don't worry. After the stream's over, we're gonna.
Luke's gonna sit you down and make it.
It's not gonna be secret anymore to us.
TikTok makes me feel like Grandpa Simpson. Like I just want to yell at a cloud. I just like,
I love.
What are you?
It's like that bit. It's like that bit from the Big Sea Greens that looks at him like, well, I'm old enough. I'm too old for the internet now. It's bound to happen someday.
So, for the parts of the internet that I'm not too old for, you can find me on Twitter at Hutsleia, HUTTSLEIA. Yes, it is a pun on Hutslayer. You can also find the Pink Milk podcast and YouTube streaming show. We are live every Friday at 10:30 Eastern Time. You can find our channel at youtube.com/c/Pink Milk Podcast. And the audio version is on all of your podcatchers on Mondays and Wednesdays.
Awesome.
Oh, and of course, ship who you want. All ships are valid.
Dang straight. Dang straight. Malik, where can the good people follow you?
Oh my God! Well, in your
Thank you for
back alley,
stepping in.
just hanging with the dude in the trench coat. No, I'm kidding. Partly. But you can find me on It's a Podcast. My favorite, my podcast where we talk about all types of manner of like weird and raunchy and awesome things. We actually just had our New Year's special. We just recorded it, and we just go through all of our favorite moments about the podcast. And I also go on a rant about I go on a rant about like a writer I hate. I won't mention his name, but you can find that on wherever you get your podcast, Spotify, Apple Podcast, the Dumpster, all those great places. I'm on TikTok, the Jedi Smart, currently on the road to 1,000. I just hit the halfway point, so trucking along. I'm gonna get there eventually. Yeah, I think that's it.
Again, both of you, thank you, and thank you to Brent. I'm gonna.
You should plug. You should plug Brendan's stuff.
So
wait, Brendan, no, I'm sorry, you already plugged it before he left.
Yeah. You can follow us at the Podwans Pod on Instagram. You can follow us at the Podwans Podcast on TikTok, and at Podwans on Twitter. And for everyone here, I'd like to thank everybody that came into the chat. I know they fly now also tonight, so you had to juggle between us and them. We appreciate you all for coming in. M, you are always welcome to come on.
Great.
This was the best episode. I've had the most fun, not only with just you. Malik's always
can't get rid of me apparently, or they have me here under arrest.
We have him under contract. That's what it is.
I signed a contract when?
We will not discuss this live on stream.
Jedi mind trick.
Yeah. You will sign this contract.
You are altering the deal. I pray you don't alter it any further.
Yeah. But guys, thanks for coming. Thanks for I will give you back your guys' nights. And may the force be with you.
Peace out.